What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. I've been doing some research. That's why we got started late. I'm working on it.
Get away. This is bigger than ourselves. We won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the
crap. I forgot to start Facebook late, didn't I? It's already started. Screw it. Give me just a second to share this. Going to get a copyright claim, huh? There's that. There's that. Finish that. Go over here. Beep, bop, boop. Computer noises. Clicks and whirling. That's a funny word. Anyways, let's go, guys. I fucked up Facebook. But whatever.
Legend of Britzeldasus. Dr. Phil.
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Uh-oh. Welcome, everybody. I am Will Bird, and this is the Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. What's up? What's happening? Crazies. What's good? You guys go start searching for fucking water bottles without any red labels? I know I did. I came up empty-handed, so I'm still fucking cutting the labels off my water bottles because it bothers me so much. Yes, that's right. I said it. I do it. Label-free water. Front and center. Anyways. Phil Godlewski. Phil Godlewski is trying to make some money. Why is he trying to make some money? Well, because 7K is changing the way they pay out. So basically he had this nest egg with all these people below him in this MLM to where he was getting over $12,000 a week. $12,500 a week was his payment because he was maxed out on the scale. They told him they were going to make a higher level. They never did. They thought about getting rid of him, right? Andy or whatever fucking dipped the fuck out. Now they've changed. They're not going to be an MLM anymore. Instead, they're going to be more of like an affiliate marketing thing. Like if someone buys silver with your link, then you get partial credit, right? And also they're going to start trading in crypto and make gold available to everybody in the world. That is their new goals. I think they did a press release. Hold on. I'll read the press release in a second. But before we get there, let's watch some other things. What do we got? What we got, Dr. J? What do you got here? What you got for me?
No one wants to fight for Israel!
His hand! Oh, his hand!
Oh, they're going to break it.
Let go of your hand! The senator broke his hand! A sitting U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine! Call your Senate! A U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine!
Damn.
A U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine! You're a coward.
It was just him and Carrie on a private plane. And he's like, if you invest in my crypto, maybe one day you can own a fucking G8 or whatever.
Everybody sit down, please. Everybody sit down, please. Everybody sit down, please.
I'm getting out of here.
Everybody sit down, please. No, it's not.
This is disgusting. Disgusting.
Just pull it out.
So if you can't tell, these doors are made really weird. His hand was in this little slot between the door, and they just kept pulling on him. It does sound like something cracks or pops.
Let's go fight for Israel!
His hand.
See how the doors are? See this gap? His hand is through that gap, and they pull him pretty hard here.
His hand.
Like 3 guys dragging on him, and then whoever this is fucking with his hand at the same time.
Let go of your hand. Only go over the door. The senator broke his hand.
That one cop comes up and like grabs him by the head. He's like, I got him.
A sitting U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine. Control your Senate. A U.S. senator just...
So I understand you need to be removed for an outburst. I also understand, no one wants to fight for fucking Israel. The administration is just now coming out saying like, well, there wasn't exactly a threat to the U.S., but there was a threat to Israel. And Israel's going whether we win or not, so we might as well go with them, right? Israel was jumping off a bridge. Do you not expect Trump to jump off a bridge?
Oh, I don't know. What's up, my man? You come to pay your debts? Soon. When
I don't know what this is. I just clicked on it.
interest is still running up. Don't forget, the interest is 22.99%. It gets big fast.
So, how much do I owe you?
Oh, I don't know. I got to calculate it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a very complex mathematical situation that we're in right now. How many...
Hello, good morning. How are you?
Well, how are you?
Very good. Yes, nice truck.
This is so wild. And behind me is the former U.S. Embassy right over there.
Let me get down from my tank and get onto their tank.
This is so wild.
We are here on top of a tank
In Kabul, Afghanistan.
with a...
That's a Humvee.
My name is Hezbollah.
Isbullah, my name's Connor. Nice to meet you.
My father's name is Rahman. Father's name is Rahman.
Rahna. Ismaillah.
Bismillah Rahman. Okay, I think we might have to get down.
Nice to meet you guys.
Goodbye. Hoda Hafiz.
Anyways, what else we got? We've got maybe someone has figured out my favorite allergist has made a video about the Trump rash.
Here's an update to the potential differential diagnosis.
It was what someone in chat said the other day. That topical treatment that basically just prevents cells from splitting. That's what everybody thinks it is. Maybe because he has skin cancer, some type of legion they're trying to kill.
Of President Trump's rash on his neck. This is for educational purposes to try to help raise awareness about different
Yeah, it's stupid to try to pull a Marine with his hand in the door. Just fucking open a box of Crayola and just fucking rattle him while you walk out slowly.
skin conditions.
It'll be all over your ass.
Diagnostic purposes, but his physician came out with a statement saying that he's using a very common cream on the right side of his neck, which is a preventive skin treatment, and that it's going to be used for 1 week, and the redness may last for a few weeks. So an additional possibility besides contact dermatitis, shingles, and infection is something called actinic keratosis. That is a precancerous lesion that is the result usually of aging as well as sun damage. And so one of the potential treatments that can be used is a topical cream called 5-FU or 5-fluorouracil, which can cause the skin to look very irritated and red, potentially like what you see here. Actinic keratosis is considered...
We all agree that he did not get hit by a bullet, right? Nobody thinks that his ear got nicked by a bullet and healed in 3 days. And like, we all agree on that. Like, I'll give him shrapnel. I'll give him glass. I'll give him a piece of fucking plastic. Even in the testimony in front of Congress, they refused to say a bullet. They kept saying, what did they say? A piece of bullet-like material, or a piece of bullet material, maybe?
A precancerous lesion to something called squamous cell carcinoma, which is why if it's identified, it tends to be treated. And so that's also a possibility. Again, this is actinic keratosis is considered a precancerous lesion to something called squamous.
A precancerous lesion, which may explain what the lump is.
And red, potentially like what you see here. Actinic keratosis is considered a precancerous lesion to something called squamous cell carcinoma, which is why if it's identified, it tends to be treated. And so that's also a possibility. Again, this is not diagnostic, this is help.
So again, cancer is a fucked up cell that just keeps duplicating. It never shuts off, right? So if it's a skin cell, it just keeps making this same cell over and over. That's how you get a tumor, right? You have nothing, then this one cell just keeps duplicating, and those cells duplicate until it builds a mass of something that was not supposed to be made, right? It's a mutant cell that keeps replicating itself. And that's why we use stuff like chemo. People are like, well, chemo kills your body. Yeah, well, that's why we target it at an area where we want everything there to die. And hopefully the cancer dies before you do.
raise awareness. So,
well, this cream is a topical cream that prevents skin cells. There's also some type of oral version, but we're talking about the cream that prevents skin cells from replicating. So your skin cells, like you change your skin all the time, right? Skin flakes and skin cells and shit all the time. Your skin's falling off. If we stop that from that, of course, it's going to be a rash, an itch, maybe even start to bleed. It's probably going to be aggravating because the skin cells are building up and nothing's replacing them underneath. So he's basically killing all the skin cells in that area. Well, not killing them. The ones that are there are not replicating and they die very quickly. So he's creating a dead area there, and it's going to be a big rash and red spot and look nasty as fuck.
if you have any concerning lesions like this, always talk with your doctor to have it checked out. Here's an update to the potential differential diagnosis of President Trump's rash on his neck. This is for
somebody shared a picture of it earlier today and said, y'all act like you've never seen an asshole with diaper rash or some shit. It was funny. It was pretty funny. All right, so that's the update there. We're going to get into Phil, I promise. This is a weird story. I think that this woman sets it up in a very cinematic way, but it is a strange story, and I'm going to read the story. Watch the video first, and we'll read the article.
So the state of Tennessee is trying to require that every woman have at least one child. They passed a law, and the result is that a Catholic hospital canceled the sterilization surgery of a woman who was prepped and ready to go. They said,
now, that's an attention-grabbing headline, right? The state of Tennessee is trying to make every woman have at least one child. That's not technically true, okay? Just so you know, it's not technically true. They did pass a law, which we are going to be talking about, but it's not so much that the law says every woman has to have one child or can't be sterilized. We'll read the law in a minute.
that she was too young and she hadn't had any children yet. So in order to get the sterilization, she would have had to have had at least one child. This woman never wanted children. She actually had been assaulted in the past, and she lives in a state where even if you're violently assaulted, they won't allow you to end a pregnancy. They said the decision came from their ethics committee. They had a duty to protect her sacred fertility. What the hell is that? The Medical Ethics Defense Act, which they passed last April, protects doctors from having to perform any procedure that conflicts with their religious beliefs. Don't become a doctor. Do we understand that the state of Tennessee is now deciding that women will become mothers whether they like it or not? Because it is legal to violently assault women in this country. That's a fact. They don't prosecute hardly any of those cases, and only 1% of them actually result in the man going to jail. And a woman can't end her pregnancy if she's violently assaulted. So women are now required to have at least one child for the state. That's a fact. So the state of Tennessee is trying to...
So she says that's a fact. Now, that's not actually true, right? I don't know why she said that's a fact. I understand it gets clicks. I guess I do understand why she said it. But if you're trying to do this, you know, I guess the right way and not hysteria, let's talk about it. So Tennessee did pass an Ethics Defense Act, and it's for hospitals and doctors and shit, okay? Here's what it says. The Tennessee Medical Ethics Defense Act, enacted in 2025, authorizes healthcare providers, institutions, and payers, not you as a payer, but like, let's say like your hospital's paying to contract you out to get an MRI somewhere else. Payers to decline participation in or payment for services that violate their conscience, such as ethical, moral, or religious beliefs. It protects against discriminatory actions for exercising this right. So it protects you against it, and you can't be discriminated against for it, except in and does not override federal emergency care mandates. So federal care mandates are still there. And it says, definition of the conscience includes sincerely held ethical, moral, or religious beliefs. This is usually where the Church of Satan comes in, and they say something like, well, it's my seriously held moral belief that cancer doesn't exist. So we don't treat anybody that has cancer. We tell them that we give them a perfectly clean bill of health and send them back or something like that, because this law is so fucking ridiculous. Protection for providers. Healthcare professionals and institutions can refuse to participate in specific procedures that violate their conscience. No discrimination. Providers and institutions cannot be civilly, criminally, or administratively liable for exercising this right. Exceptions. The law does not apply to, and therefore does not override, federal laws such as Emergency Medical Treatment and Active Labor Acts, EMTALA, which is like the federal standards. It also does not apply when a patient is in immediate danger of harming themselves or others. The law protects healthcare providers who report violations of this act. So there's like a whistleblower a protection built into it. Contractual obligations. While allowing refusals, a healthcare payer cannot decline payment for service it is contractually obligated to pay for under insurance terms. Legislation, according to Tennessee, aims to prevent healthcare professionals from being compelled to provide care that contradicts their beliefs, such as instances involving specific pharmaceutical prescriptions or procedures. This is all about abortion. This is all about some places don't want to give contraceptives or birth control. Like that's what this is really about. Let's read the article. So this woman says hospital canceled her sterilization. She was getting her tubes tied. They canceled her sterilization surgery while she was admitted to the hospital. Hospital staff cited concerns about sterilizing a young woman. So she went in, got the procedure, or checked in, wanted the procedure, wanted this done, tubes tied. She doesn't want kids. She's done with birth control. She has, and they're like, well, you're too young. If you had a kid already, we would do it. But because you haven't had any kids and you're young, we want to keep you fertile. Whose fucking choice is that, bro? Would I recommend that she did it? I don't know. I don't know anything about her. If it was her choice and she had decided and been through the options and was well informed on the case, is it my place to tell her she's too young? You just haven't found the right guy yet. The fuck out of here. Nashville, Tennessee. A Tennessee woman says Ascension St. Thomas, remember, it's a Catholic hospital, Midtown, canceled her scheduled sterilization surgery Friday morning, hours after she had been admitted and an IV had been placed. So they brought her in, admitted her. It was a scheduled procedure. She's ready to go. It was on the books, ready to do this thing. They start an IV. They got her there. They're getting her prepped for surgery. They're like, nope, canceled. The woman said she had been seeking a salpingectomy, a surgery that removes the fallopian tubes after years of trying other birth control options. Quote, since I was young, I've never wanted kids. And I've wanted to pursue sterilization since I learned that was something that a person could do, she said. I've tried a lot of different options for birth control. None of them have worked for me. No, do not give me phonetic spellings. I'll just embarrass you. Decision came from ethics committee, the woman says. The woman said she was admitted, spoke with the surgical team, and had an IV placed before waiting approximately 3 hours with no update. She said a group of nurses then informed her the procedure would not proceed. Quote, the hospital wasn't going to allow them to go through with it because they had concerns about the implications of sterilization a woman so young, she said. She said she was told that the decision came from the hospital's Catholic Ethics Oversight Committee and that the committee cited a duty to protect her sacred fertility. A duty to protect her sacred. A hospital board decided that they have to protect this woman's sacred fertility. The woman told WSMV Her reasons for pursuing sterilization include a history of assault, previous issues with other forms of birth control, and concerns about living in a state without abortion access. I went on birth control at a young age after being assaulted, she said. That's another big reason I wanted to pursue sterilization, because we live in a state that, you know, you can't get an abortion. She said her primary concern was the timing of the cancellation. That the decision came only after she was already hours into a pre-surgical process. She says that prepaying for the surgery, she is now waiting on a refund following the cancellation. The main reason I wanted to talk about it was because I don't want anyone to have to go through that, she said. The cancellation comes after the passage of House Bill 1044, also known as the Medical Ethics Defense Act, META, which took effect at the end of April last year, 2025. The law protects doctors from liability or lawsuits when they decline to perform procedures that conflict with their religious or moral beliefs. WSMV4 reached out to Ascension St. Thomas for more information on the Catholic Ethics Oversight Committee and how those decisions are made. The hospital said it was working on a response. So again, the video we watched is kind of blown out of proportion. Like, Tennessee makes you have at least one kid. But it is wild to think that you can't go and do a legal procedure, pay for it as a full functioning fucking adult, and they're like, well, we got to protect your sacred vagina. It's our job, ethically, to protect your very sacred vagina. Now we'll watch the video again with the context.
So the state of Tennessee is trying to require that every woman have at least one child. They passed a law, and the result is that a Catholic hospital canceled the sterilization surgery of a woman who was prepped and ready to go. They said that she was too young and she hadn't had any children yet. So in order to get the sterilization, she would have had to have had at least one child. This woman never wanted children. She actually had been assaulted in the past, and she lives in a state where even if you're violently assaulted, they won't allow you to end a pregnancy. They said the decision came from their ethics committee. They had a duty to protect her sacred fertility. What the hell is that? The Medical Ethics Defense Act, which they passed last April, protects doctors from having to perform any procedure that conflicts with their religious beliefs. Don't become a doctor. Do we understand that the state of Tennessee is now deciding that women will become mothers whether they like it or not? Because it is legal to...
So you can't get an abortion and you can't get your tubes tied. They told her they may reconsider if she had already had a kid or if she wasn't so young, which is wild.
Violently assault women in this country. That's a fact. They don't prosecute hardly any of those cases, and only 1% of them actually result in the man going to jail. And a woman can't end her pregnancy if she's violently assaulted. So women are now required to have at least one child for the state. That's a fact. So the state of Tennessee is trying to require that every woman...
Pretty crazy, no?
...one child. They passed a law, and the...
You said rape or rapist or something. The bot got it. I don't know. That's just a wild story to me. Like, if a full-grown-ass woman, she even prepaid for the surgery. Like, it wasn't like they said, oh, well, we don't really do, like... that type of procedure just by choice. We only do it, when your life's in danger or blah, 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 or whatever. Or you have to come in and talk to one of our fucking family planning consultants and go through this process, and they see if you're really ready. But they let her pay. They let her check in. They let her schedule it. They started an IV, right? They were prepping her. They were prepping her for surgery. I don't think you just put a rapist child. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty fucking insane, if you ask me. You put R-A-P-I-S-T, rapist. It's just wild. I mean, the local hospital knows that they're not allowed to perform any procedures on Mariah unless I've pre-signed an authorization form, but that's because she's my property. This woman seems like she's single. I don't know if she has an owner or not yet. I mean, I guess her dad would have the rights if he's still living, but I don't know. I don't know how that works, right? It's all very Old Testament stuff, not my vibe. Legend, what procedures has Austin pre-approved you for? Pretty wild story either way. This was a good clip.
Your prime minister is a wanted war criminal. You don't have the moral high ground here at all. The Iranians are clearly still able to penetrate Israel's air defense systems at times, but as of yet, it's not on a scale that's leading the Israelis or the Americans to reassess their calculations in this war.
Whilst we're on the scene, air raid sirens sound again. The explosions you can hear.
There is a video of a woman in Israel. I wish it was AI. I wish it was a skit. I wish it was SNL of a Jewish woman in the capital of Israel while Iran is launching counterattacks because they just got bombed into the fucking Stone Age by Israel and the United States. And she's like, why is it always us? We don't bother anybody. We don't want war. We don't want nothing. And everybody always attacks us.
Ballistic missiles being taken out.
They are targeting civilian neighborhoods.
We spoke with Israel's foreign ministry spokesman.
Khamenei, the Iranian regime have clearly done terrible things, particularly to their own people. But your prime minister is a wanted war.
Why would CNN go to Israel instead of Iran? You ever stop and ask yourself why there's no news in Iran? Zero. There is no there's no agencies in Iran except for the Iranian state media.
Criminal. You don't have the moral high level, but your prime
spokesman
Khamenei
neighborhoods.
The explosions you can hear are ballistic missiles being taken out.
They are targeting civilian neighborhoods.
We spoke with Israel's foreign ministry spokesman.
Khamenei, the Iranian regime have clearly done terrible things, particularly to their own people. But your prime minister is a wanted war criminal. You don't have the moral high ground here at all.
Israel's the first fucking country to say, oh, they're targeting civilian, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we watched you do that in Palestine on purpose. Hospitals and shit. Like, get the fuck out of here.
A war crime. This is a war crime. Targeting civilians, and the Iranian regime is targeting not only us in Israel. They are targeting the entire region.
First people to cry.
Also, schoolgirls in Iran that have been killed in a strike there.
And this must stop.
Yeah, but did you know that there were 6 million schoolgirls killed in Israel?
This must be stopped, and this is what we're trying to do. Yes, next question, please.
Your prime minister is a wanted...
I don't know. Let me see if I can find this clip. I don't know. Here, yeah, okay. Apparently I can pretty easily.
Why does it have to happen to us always? Why is it always the Jewish people? We didn't do anything.
They're literally talking to her. Now, I want to set the scene here. The United States and Israel launched a surprise attack on Iran. Several hours later, Iran launches a counterattack. Maybe you don't like it. Maybe you think they shouldn't go for civilian centers or whatever. But it's definitely not, why is it always us? We didn't do anything. That's definitely not the case.
Why does it have to happen to us always? Why is it always the Jewish people? We didn't do anything. It wasn't us. We really didn't do anything.
Critics of the Jewish state would say you guys started this war by attacking Iran about 48 hours ago.
No. We did not start. No. The Jewish people, Israel doesn't want to ever do a war. Why does it have to?
I could understand when she said, at one point she says the Jewish people. I could understand if they're like, the U.S. right now, 75% doesn't want a war with Iran. I can understand the Jewish people. Then she even goes back to the Jewish people. Israel doesn't want a war right now. What are you talking about?
happen to us always? Why is it always the Jewish people? We didn't do anything. Like, it wasn't us. Like, we really didn't do anything.
Critics of the Jewish state would say you guys started this war by attacking Iran about 48 hours ago.
No. We did not start. No. The Jewish people, Israel doesn't want to ever do a war. Why does it have to happen?
That's insane, right?
It's always the Jewish people. We didn't do anything. Like, it wasn't us. Like, we really didn't do anything.
Critics of the Jewish state would say you guys started this war by attacking Iran.
Less than 48 hours ago. Less than 48 hours ago. Is there an investigation? I don't know. So I know what happened, right? A Superior aircraft shot down they were shot down by F-18s. They were in F-15s, F-15E Strike Eagles, and a couple of Kuwaiti F-18s, and a Eurofighter, Typhoon, were on patrol, misidentified them and shot them down, right? And I'm sure the pilots weren't like in evasive maneuvers and shit. They were trying to get in goddamn formation, you know? That I have no idea how, like, we have tracking systems specifically for this, right? Especially now that we have weapons that can shoot beyond the horizon, right? You don't even have to see your target sometime to lock onto it and fire some of these weapon systems. Like when I was in, we had a thing called Blue Force Tracker, and it was basically just a big GPS. Everybody had a GPS. Everybody had a little fucking either a pack you carried with your unit or it was on your vehicle or whatever. And hell, they could even tell how fast you were going. We got a speeding ticket, a virtual speeding ticket one time over it from the battle space commander. It was like, oh, I had you registered over 70 miles an hour in a fucking 45. We're like, get fucked, you know? But I'm sure there's a more advanced system for the aircraft that lets everybody know where everybody's at. I don't understand it. Seems wild they shot him down. And then did you see, like, some of the videos are kind of like heartwarming. They're like, oh, thank you. You're so great. We're sorry about this. Sorry. Glad you're okay, to that female. But that one dude almost gets fucked up. He has to tell him over and over again, like, I'm a fucking U.S. citizen. Hold on. The guy's like shaking a fucking stick at him, getting ready to fuck him up. This one, maybe? No. He's grabbing his rigging and shit. And he's like, don't.
Back up. Stop. Back up. Go. Easy. Muhammad.
They were looking for somebody to fuck up. I think there's more to this video where he screams, I'm an American. I think we missed part of it. Let's see if we can find. He's got a stick or something with him. Pulling shit away from him. Look at him. He wanted to fuck somebody up, right? See him falling from the sky and just fuck him up. That shit's crazy. And then one more before we get into Phil's stream. Let's go here. I like this guy's videos.
The fat orange.
They're AI, but still, I like the script writing's good.
Does another war. Once upon a time, the fat orange monster was riding the high he got from attacking the neighboring kingdom of Venezuela.
Yeah, I mean every system or every integrated system between countries, which they're flying our shit. So we're all integrated. All NATO has some type of IFF system, right? It just stands for identify friendly or foe. And it ties into all of our ground equipment, fucking missile batteries and radars, everything, right? I just don't know what system they're using at this point or what they call it. And what the fuck could have went wrong with it, right? They're not going to show up as an unknown. They're not going to show up as an enemy. So I don't know. Maybe it wasn't on. Maybe it was a malfunction. Maybe they didn't read something. Maybe they didn't give a fuck. It was just weird.
See, old Fatty Orange was mentally ill and constantly needed bigger and bigger rushes.
Those were the Kuwait videos. The Kuwaiti, the 3 pilots shot down in Kuwait.
To feel anything at all. Taking over one country for no real reason at all was never going to be enough. It's the same reason he eats all those fatty fish sandwiches, always needing one more to feel full. And if he was being honest with himself, he really didn't like the kingdom he had taken. It was full of brown people. And if there's one thing that Fatty didn't like, it was those brown people. But he did like the whites, and he wanted to take a kingdom with whites in it. He couldn't take the kingdom of Canada. They were too big and too complex. But he could take the lands of green far to the north. And in the lands of green, there was lots of shiny metal. Shiny metal he wanted for himself. Because it exists, and he exists, and he wants it, and that's all that matters. The people who live there don't matter. They're mostly in the way, and their only value to the monster is as cheap labor to get the shiny metal. He'd laugh and joke about changing their name to Orange Land. And then slowly, over time, though much quicker than anyone expected, the jokes became reality. The fat orange monster bellowed out, "Stephen! Stephen the Cuck! Go out into the world and proclaim my rule!" Stephen the Cuck out to tell all the people all over the lands that the lands of green now belonged to the monster, and that the armies were coming, and nothing anyone could do would stop it. And while Stephen the Cuck was out being a cuck, his wife was with Elon Musk. That's not really a joke, that's just a thing that's happening right now. And it makes me chuckle.
The Cuck.
Stephen the Cook.
Oh no, he made an AI song for it.
He's walking in the rain. Cooking ain't easy. It's a hard pill to take.
Yeah, so a lot of the systems are automated, but with our allies, we have an IFF. CENTCOM has an IFF command center. I think it's in Qatar. But basically, there's like rules, like our aircraft would not even be allowed to operate in Kuwait unless they had the updated. So it's like this. They send out an encrypted code. That code's received. They put a password in and it sends it back. And that, because it's encrypted, both sides can identify, hey, we're friendly. Our aircraft would not even be allowed to fly in that airspace as friendly airspace if those codes weren't updated and their systems weren't reliable. So clearly someone did something majorly wrong to shoot down fucking F-15s in Kuwait.
That's a hard pill to take. Yeah, it all changed when you took my name. Now I'm cocking on my own in the rain. Here we go. Stephen the Cook.
Damn.
Walks alone.
The tearjerker there.
Cooking ain't easy. It's a hard pill to take. This is a serious song. This is not a joke. Yeah. It all changed when you took my name. Now I'm cooking on my own in the rain.
I'm guessing he's talking about his wife leaving him for Elon or whatever that shit was.
Walks alone in the rain. Cooking ain't easy. It's a hard pill to take. It all changed when you took my name.
Mueller, everybody. I just want to see what else he's got had recently.
The insanity of Pete Hegseth attempting to bring on...
You know, there is an AI country music YouTube channel that puts out, I mean, decent music for being AI. Like, I can tell it's AI, but I'm sure a lot of country music listeners can't. And he puts out these AI songs with AI artwork and background that goes with it. And a lot of them are like really like touching, emotional ballads or whatever. And the background matches it. You know, if it's talking about dad and daughter, there's a dad and daughter or whatever. But it's all AI. That guy's making thousands of dollars a month in views. Thousands of dollars a month of views by prompting an AI and uploading it to YouTube. I only know how much he's making a month because you guys remember Johnny Gobbler? Johnny Gobbler helps moderate that channel, or is friends with the guy that owns the channel. He sent, the guy that owns the channel sent Johnny Gobbler, it's called Midnight or something like Midnight something. Anyways, he sent a screenshot of his earnings and Johnny tried to play it off as his own earnings. And I think it was like in the last 28 days, he had made like $2,000 some.
On Armageddon so he can meet Jesus. Honestly, we've all gotten used to insane shit from this administration. Most of it is self-serving nonsense as old men try to gather money and...
You think that maybe Trump knows he's dying and he's trying to leave his like mark on the world or something quickly?
Power and cover up their abuse of children. But a very old flavor of incredibly dangerous bullshit has made a very disturbing return. Over 200...
I think all my mods just left.
...service members in every single branch of the military have made complaints that their commanders are telling them that this war is divinely inspired.
Over 200 complaints now. This war is divinely inspired. This has something to do with the second coming of Christ, blah, blah, blah. Very weird.
That Trump is anointed by God and that this will bring on the end of the world and return of Christ. Pete Hegseth himself believes in a particularly insane version of Christianity, one that believes in the end times and that he is being guided by God to his current position. The truly insane thing about all of this is this concept touted by evangelicals of a Middle Eastern war that would end life on earth and bring on Jesus's return didn't exist until the mid-70s. This idea was created by author Hal Lindsey, who made lots of random predictions, including that this particular war would happen by the 90s. None of his predictions came true. None of them were based on anything other than him literally just making shit up. And that's why we started a war in Iran. Because some dude in the 70s...
His fucking chin's so fat, they're trying to give him a beard. AI even is like, that's too much. We better make that a beard or something.
...made some shit up, and an entire culture of dummy evangelicals bought into it. The insanity... The detailed story of what it's like to be hit by an American Tomahawk cruise missile. Donnie loves to hit innocent people with massively expensive high-powered missiles. We tend to gloss over what that's like, so I wondered, what happens when you're in a building hit by one of Donald Trump's missiles? First, a missile is ejected vertically from a submarine or destroyer. It travels around 500 miles in an hour, or the distance between Chicago and Minneapolis. Inside the school full of innocent children, there is likely no warning. The missile strikes the building, and a violent concussive shockwave ripples across the structure. Windows implode inward. The air feels like a solid wall slamming into the body. Limbs are ripped off the core of the body. Eardrums rupture. Organs burst. And those people are lucky. Dust and pulverized concrete fill the air so thickly that breathing becomes difficult. The building's structure can shift in unsettling ways. Floors sagging, walls cracking, ceilings shedding debris. When the building collapses, if you've managed to survive the initial blast of Donald Trump's missile, you will be crushed, sometimes only partially, resulting in much worse ways to die, like compartment syndrome. And if you survive all of that, you may still choke to death on smoke, carbon monoxide poisoning, or even simply burning to death. And all of this because a selfish fat trust fund loser narcissist who has had everything in life handed to him forced himself on girls, and his friends secretly recorded it and gave it to the fucking Mossad, who used it as a honey trap to force him to bomb fucking children. And if you don't believe it, this is literally in Federal Bureau of Investigation CHS report labeled EFT A000900314 in the fucking Epstein files. But hey, at least the ballroom construction is coming along great, though I hear the noise irritates Melania, and that's the real tragedy here. The detailed story of what it's like.
I do like his story. This is Nick Mulling, or Nick Muller, 703. It's a cool account. Did you guys hear this? This is actually a big story. One, there was a U.S. Air Force pilot, a pilot from
in some ways.
Hush now, Mr. Global. A fighter jet pilot, U.S. military fighter jet pilot, that was just arrested and charged with being paid by the Chinese government to teach their fighter pilots to combat U.S. fighter pilots. That's pretty crazy. I wonder how much they paid him. God, it had to be a bunch. All right. The F-35 scores its first air-to-air victory.
An Israeli F-35 has reportedly scored the aircraft's first air-to-air victory against a crewed fighter, downing an Iranian Yak-130 over Tehran earlier today.
It's not a big deal, but this is the first time.
Now, F-35s from several nations have shot down uncrewed drones and cruise missiles in combat before, but this marks the first air-to-air victory against a piloted aircraft for what is the most technologically advanced fighter in service today. Now, the Yak-130 is a Russian advanced jet trainer and light combat aircraft that's capable of employing a variety of air-to-ground munitions like gravity bombs and rockets, as well as Russian-sourced infrared-guided R-73 series air-to-air missiles. Then the Yak-130 is among the most modern aircraft in Iran's inventory, with the platform itself only reaching initial service in 2010 and deliveries to Iran only beginning in 2013. Now, these jets were purchased as training aircraft, but Iran announced their intentions to begin using them for limited combat operations last year. According to Iranian state media, one of their Yak-130s even participated in air combat exercises in 2025 that saw them coordinate with 2 Iranian MiG-29s to intercept and destroy an airborne target drone using an R-73E infrared-guided air-to-air missile. It's a weapon with a reported range of roughly 19 miles or about 30 kilometers, and that really speaks to the extent of this platform's air-to-air capabilities. Now, at least one Yak-130 was photographed flying over Tehran with an air-to-air armament in just the past few days, seemingly flying counter-UAS air defense operations, or shooting down drones. The Yak-130 was designed to emulate advanced Russian fourth-generation fighter flight characteristics for training purposes, while also serving in light attack and reconnaissance roles. In Iranian service, it's primarily been used as a...
Wait. The F-22 has 2 confirmed air-to-air kills, okay? Just because both kills were high-altitude weather balloons doesn't take away from that accomplishment any at all. It's just the same as a fighter jet, okay? And just because they expended all their munitions and barely got the balloons to fall doesn't say anything about the F-22's capabilities.
Toward Iran's piecemeal fleets of Cold War fighters like the F-4E Phantom II, F-5 Tiger, and of course, Iran's handful of still operational F-14 Tomcats. And on a longer timeline, they were also meant to train Iranian pilots to fly the much more modern Russian-sourced Su-35 if and when deliveries of those fighters ever actually...
Not only did it get a kill on a Chinese weather balloon, it got it over United States soil.
Begins.
Think about that.
Believed that Iran had just 12 Yak-130s in total at the onset of fighting, and with more than 11,000 pounds of thrust on tap and the ability to pull upwards of 8 Gs during maneuvers, these lightweight fighters may be generations behind platforms like the F-35, but they are nonetheless pretty capable aircraft for what they were meant to do. In fact, the Yak-131, or the light attack version of this aircraft, comes equipped...
What's crazy is those balloons are such lightweight that the oil from your skin, you have to wear gloves when you're setting them up. I was at a launch of one time. You have to wear gloves when you're setting them up. The oil from your skin, if you touch the outside of it, can cause it to rip when it gets up to high altitude. Like, they're so fucking fragile.
With an onboard radar, and is even slated to eventually replace aging Su-25 Frogfoots for the close air support mission in the Russian Air Force. Now, the Yak-130 is, of course, absolutely...
They all wear nitrile gloves and shit, and you can't sweat or drip or nothing. Like, it's so thin, it's translucent. Like, you can see through it. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like... What it reminds me of is like the the cheapest trash bags. The trash bags where you wouldn't even allow a cheap ass company to buy them, right? Because you know as soon as you go to pick it up, it's just gonna rip in half. Like those, the cheapest fucking trash bags you could fucking imagine. You can see through it. It falls apart if you look at it wrong. Like it's crazy.
By the F-35 with no onboard radar and only short-range air-to-air capabilities. But again,
home turf. That's right.
The argument that this is
home field advantage.
An advanced tactical aircraft in Iranian service today, so its loss is certainly worthy of note. Now losing.
Do you guys know that turned out to be a scam, Michaela Robertson? That like his parents were actually hiding him, and there was never a chance that he was in a balloon. It turned out to be all one big scam.
To the F-35,
the boy in the balloon.
Foregone conclusion, but the fact that Iran is still managing to get aircraft into the fight after 4 consecutive days of large-scale airstrikes is also worthy of note. And
I wasn't alive or don't remember it. I was too young, or I don't know when it happened. But I was under the impression from watching a YouTube video about it that a lot of people to this day still don't know. They still think that, they know that the boy was found later, but they still don't know that the parents were in on it and like told him to hide. It was all to get attention and shit. So congratulations to the F-35, first air-to-air kill. He probably did a story on the fighter pilot. He just came out recently. F-22, stealth drop tanks, shield X. Oh, U.S. fighter pilot charged with training Chinese pilots.
A former U.S. Air Force fighter pilot named Gerald Eddie Brown, who flew under the call sign Runner.
Oh, that wasn't that long ago then. I should remember that, but I don't.
On Wednesday after spending the last
I thought it was like in the 90s or early 90s or something.
Alleged to have shared American military secrets while training Chinese pilots to fight his own former colleagues. Now, under the letter of the law, Brown's clandestine
it was when I graduated high school. Yeah, I wouldn't remember that.
Service for the Chinese military.
A lot of drugs.
Constitutes a direct violation of the Arms Export Control Act, but not treason, as treason requires an enemy as established by a declaration of war. But it's still pretty hard to imagine a more egregious violation of one's oath.
Dude, you know they had to pay him a shit ton of money, or he's got some incredible debts. I've been thinking more and more, like, I know how much I make. I know generally how much other people around me are making, probably. Like, I can, the company you work for, how long you've been there. I can kind of guess because I know the starting wages at a lot of companies and blah, blah, blah. You've been there 10 years. Let's say you make this. See how many hours you work. There must be so many people in debt up to their fucking eyeballs, dude. Driving around in fucking brand new vehicles every couple years. Then they take those vehicles and customize the fuck out of them, and nice houses they park in front of and blah, blah, blah. But there's no way. They gotta just be drowning in fucking debt.
Or betrayal of one's community than what Brown is alleged to have done. And what's even worse, he's far from the only one. Now, Brown's 24 years in the U.S. Air Force saw him train pilots to fly everything from the F-4 Phantom II to the F-15 Eagle to the F-16 Fighting Falcon and the A-10 Thunderbolt II.
He's flown fucking everything, and he's over there training Chinese pilots how to fight against us.
He commanded units tasked with delivering nuclear weapons. He led fighter formations in combat, and after his separation, he served as a contracted simulator instructor for current A-10 and F-35 pilots. In correspondence between Brown and his Chinese handlers, as outlined in the indictment, Brown is said to have repeatedly stated his intent to train Chinese pilots for combat operations, and he voiced his excitement over having the chance to, quote, fly and instruct fighter pilots again. His handlers informed him that he'd probably be assigned to the Chinese equivalent of the Air Force's weapons school, where he would be training China's most elite fighter pilots in how America conducts air combat. Now, the indictment states that Brown left active duty in 1996, which suggests to me that he probably spent a pretty fair portion of his 24 years in service in a reserve capacity, just because of how those dates line up. Brown, who's 65 today, would have been 35 in 1996, and if that were the end of a 24-year career, he would have had to have commissioned in the Air Force at just 11 years old. Instead, it's a lot more likely, at least to me, that Brown commissioned as a second lieutenant at age 21 or 22 in the early 80s, and then left active duty to transition to the reserves in 96 after 14 or 15 years in service. Now, Brown likely maintained that reserve status for the next decade or so, but probably didn't spend enough time on active duty orders or attending drills to earn enough points toward a formal retirement, which would be why the Justice Department called him a former fighter pilot rather than a retired one. Now, all of the aircraft Brown flew in service have seen pretty substantial updates and upgrades since he left the uniform, except for the F-4, which has since been retired. So the technical value he provided China might have been limited, but then there's the
It's better than zero, though.
tacit combat knowledge or experiential expertise derived from more than 2 decades in the cockpit. And that, if I'm honest, might be the real problem. Even if Brown never shared a single classified detail with the Chinese military, providing advanced pilot training is in itself a direct form of capability transfer. Showing Chinese fighter pilots how Americans think about the fight, how they plan their operations, how they brief those plans to others, and then how they execute them, all offers the People's Liberation Army Air Force 2 distinct avenues to benefit from Brown's experience. The first is the most direct, with Brown's teachings making Chinese fighter pilots more proficient than they otherwise would have been, pulling from internal sources alone. The second, of course, is how the newfound understanding of American tactics, techniques, and procedures, or TTPs, could be used to interfere with or mitigate American efforts in an actual fight. Now, Brown's experience with things like how fighters integrate with airborne warning and control aircraft, how they go about meeting up with tankers near contested airspace, even simple formations.
And a lot of stuff in the military, even though it needs to be changed, just proposed it needs to be changed. People think about, it needs to be updated. It changes very slowly. So a lot of his information might still be relevant.
Logic that really could be
even though it probably should have been updated, this training manual or the way we do this, it ideally should have been updated 10 years ago. It's still in place because no one's written out the whole procedure and got it approved and added to a book and sent out and trained on and approved by all the generals, and then kicked down to the people below them, and then the lawyers read over it. It takes a long time to change procedures within the military.
From publicly available texts all becomes a lot more valuable to the Chinese military when shared through the cooperative scope of a seasoned American veteran who's been employing these tactics for decades. Now, Brown is only the most recent Western pilot to be outed for trading their country's secrets for a Chinese payday. In 2022, the British Ministry of Defense reported that at least 30 of their former pilots had left for China to train them for combat, accepting paydays of up to $270,000 for the job. That same year, a former Marine AV-8B Harrier...
I'm be honest with you, that don't sound like a lot. $270,000 for I was expecting at least $1 million or something. Holy fuck. I bet you they watch pilots leaving the country, especially going somewhere anywhere near China, like fucking crazy, dude.
Instructor pilot named Daniel Edmund Duggan was also arrested in Australia for training Chinese naval aviators. Now, there is a ton more to this story, so if you want all the details and the implications, make sure to check out the deep dive that I just posted on that other video app. And for now, I'm just going to go back to grinding my teeth about this.
So this guy hasn't addressed the shooting, so let's do this. I wonder if he's addressed it on this channel. I was really wondering what he said about the F-15s being shot down. It doesn't look like he's addressed it there. He does really good content, but it doesn't come out super fast, right? He's not like a breaking news guy, but he does a lot of good stuff. Yeah, just doesn't have it. All right, I guess we got to get to Phil now. Fuck. Here we go. What if I told you Phil was convincing his followers? By the way, his case against Nick Alvear was thrown out. He still owes money to fucking Bree. He says that he's taken his case to against the Scranton Times, the Supreme Court. you know, just all stupid stuff all the time, in case you're wondering. Let me back this thing up. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we got a flexing on them hoes. I gotta mute that. That's gonna give me copyright strike. Wait till the music stops and I'll bring you back in with audio. He's got such a punchable face, dude. It's not even funny. Then he spends 5 or 6 minutes muted. There we go.
Test mic, test one, test. There we go. How about that? We are live. Well, we got to go in tonight. You're going to be really, really excited that you made it to this particular live stream. I don't know how long of a live stream it's going to be. I don't know how quickly I'm going to get through the information, but boy, do I got some good stuff tonight. I mean, this is kind of fell into my lap yesterday. I love when that happens when I'm not necessarily looking for intel.
He's basically got them signing up as unincorporated associations, and they're paying him thousands to do it, to fill out paperwork to make them unincorporated associations, and then claiming that they have tax exempt status.
But it kind of just comes my way, especially now in the midst of everything that's been happening with 7K Metals and Atla, and we're gonna talk about all that tonight in a portion.
Oh, I was going to read that. Let me read this press briefing. Idaho Falls, Idaho, March 3rd, 2026. 7K Metals today announced a strategic transition from network marketing, MLM model, to a direct retail and affiliate-driven model, positioning the company as a modern precious metals company focused on streamlined global access to gold and silver ownership. 7K's shift from network marketing into affiliate model reflects the broader evolution of the global marketplace towards direct-to-consumer engagement and the rising influencer economy, where sellers connect directly with the public and earn commissions through authentic product referrals rather than a complex organizational compensation structure. So they're getting rid of those checks that he was getting for having so many people below him, right? Founded in 2016, headquartered in Idaho Falls, 7K Metals has grown from a tight-knit coin-collecting company into a global precious metals platform, serving tens of thousands of customers around the globe. The company's tens of thousands. Hell, Phil's probably signed up tens of thousands. The company's sunsetting of its original networking model and transition towards a retail and affiliate-driven model reflects its continued focus on accessibility, simplicity, and expanding precious metals education and ownership to a broader public audience. By the way, they wrote them themselves. This isn't like a news article. Our mission has always been to get gold and silver into the hands of those who need it most, said Chief Executive Officer Blake Davis. By simplifying our model, we are making participation easier and more aligned with where the global marketplace is headed. We are removing the complications of legacy compensation structures and replacing them with a framework that is more accessible, more sustainable, and ultimately better for the vast majority of people involved. Hell, I would do 7K Metals if it was just like an affiliate thing. Like, hell, Amazon's an affiliate thing. I do that. But there's no way I was doing MLM where you have to sign up. You have to be part of this club, a buyer's club, and auto saver has to be turned on. You got to have 500 points to qualify. Like, that's fucking stupid. In many ways, this transition is about recognizing where the marketplace is going. Customers want to interact with companies that meet them where they are. We have always believed in being that company, and this move aligns us further with that sentiments. The transition is also reflective of the company's continued expansion into fintech, financial technology, I guess, oriented platforms and modern retail infrastructure, which enable faster transactions, broader global reach, and a more seamless customer experience. By proactively adapting to changes in the marketplace, 7K Metals aims to position itself as a leader in the modern precious metal space, prioritizing accessibility, sustainability, education, and long-term customer value while remaining grounding in its core mission of expanding access to gold and silver ownership. We are optimistic about the future, Davis concluded. The transition allows us to reach more people around the world who are looking for a simpler, more direct path to learning about and owning gold and silver. We're excited to double down on building a global community of people who support each other in accumulating tangible assets. End press briefing. So they're going away from the MLM structure and commission checks that Phil will be getting. So he's always on top of how do I get more money, new money, more money, new money.
but the bigger stuff that I have is big stuff. And you guys definitely want to hear what we have to say, what I have to say about that. So it's going to be a great show. I think you're going to have a lot of, I think you're going to be excited about this one. I'm excited.
I don't think he's had plastic surgery. I think he's got, I don't know if he's doing tests or something. Something's going on with his hormones and how puffy he is sometimes, and then he's not, and then his face looks like he got stung by a bunch of bees at times. I don't know what's going on, but I don't think it's plastic surgery.
To even get it out of my mind and through my lips. So yeah. Before we get started, and I'm excited to do so, why don't you guys tell me where you're from? Chilliwack.
I'm probably going to skip this.
Chilliwack. That's Chilliwack, Phil. A shout out for Chilliwack. Chilliwack. Could be Chilliwack, I guess. Joplin, Missouri, New York. Bullhead City, my neighbor. I have to slow it down. Where are you from? Somewhere in Arizona. Centerview.
Alcohol could make you sweat like that too. I think maybe he's doing some type of testosterone probably. And maybe when he's not on it, he's bloating worse. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, we'll talk about Silverton a little bit too. Westchester, Pennsylvania, Washington. Brush up on my Minnesota accent. Gamecocks country. Woo-woo. Minnesota. Hey. Harding, Minnesota. Like Minnesotans. I gotta brush up on my Minnesota accent. Yes.
Yeah, because that's not Minnesotan, dude. What the fuck was that?
Minnesota. Hey. Harding, Minnesota. Like Minnesotans. I gotta brush up on my Minnesota accent. Gamecocks country. Woo-woo. You know, let me tell you why I like the hat. It's not so much that it's a Gamecocks hat, but I like the white stitching on the black. I think that's cool. And I really like this color combination. It's like a cream with the Gamecocks red. I just like the hat. I would wear it no matter what the logo was if it were designed this way. You should have like a big P on there for Phil, obviously. Kingston, New Hampshire, Caledonia, Wisconsin, Poughkeepsie, New York, Sandy Hook, Connecticut. Start off by saying this. First of all,
here we go.
Planned for.
He's also big on crypto. So he's convinced his followers that they can buy this crypto package. Where's the package at? All right, here. That they can use his link and go through Boostify and buy this crypto package for the Atla coin, which is the Atleta company that his business partner, the Jiggle guys, the guy that went to jail, it's basically him. And what they say is you buy this Atla coin. This is the football coin that they got shut down for being a scam. They've just rebranded it as the Atla coin. And you take your Atla tokens, and I'm talking about football, soccer, because they're all European based. You take your Atla tokens, and then you can buy players and franchises and teams virtually, build a roster, build a team, and then do nothing with it. Blockchain Sports Arena is a revolutionary gaming platform where you invest in future or current football stars by purchasing shares in their careers. Each footballer has a unique digital ID with real characteristics. Now, this got shut down in Europe for being a scam. This is what the guy that did the Jiggle thing, this is what he got. This is what he went to jail for. So Barcelona distanced itself from sponsors cryptocurrency after backlash. That's one of the headlines. Like a bunch of teams have come out and already distanced themselves way away from this weird shit, right? Because the teams thought they were going to be making some money off of it. Fans thought they were going to own part of, like, they're very passionate about their soccer teams. That they were going to, and it turns out that really it was nothing. But whatever. Here we go.
Tonight. So we're going to start off by saying this. First of all, I did a little bit of a Telegram video.
I know the difference between gear and TRT. I got it. I don't need a lesson on it. He's clearly doing something wrong, or his face wouldn't be blown up like a goddamn blowfish. I've been on gear. I got it.
Earlier today, which highlighted the basic principles of what the heck is happening with that Atlas token. It was just a couple weeks ago now that I did a video, and I said, hey, I think it might be a good time for you guys to buy this. And it was just 24 hours later that the token went from $22 up to $39. It was just a couple hours after that went from $39 to $60.
Oh, so he's got them buying, this is what I was trying to say. He's got them buying packages of this coin to where, like, if you buy $1,000 worth, you get the coin at like $4.50 a coin, okay? If you buy $1,000 worth, it's like $4.50 a coin. But he's telling them, hey, what you're buying is this coin. And this coin is setting at $240 per token. Tell me what company in the world would sell you something for $4 when its market value is $240? That's always best if you can keep your testosterone right at the right levels, and you know your body doesn't stop making it when you hit fucking 35 and shit. I don't know. I need to get some blood panels done, but it's always best to have natural testosterone. Like, imagine going to a car lot and they're like, well, listen, if you buy the car today, we're going to sell it to you for $5,000. But on the open market, if I took it to any other customer, it'd be worth $40,000. No company is doing this. So Phil's got this website where you go into and you could spend up to $1 million. You got to buy one of their packages, right? One of their introduction. Here's the packages. It automatically loads at the $500,000 package. It's over here behind chat, but that's $220 per coin. All the way down to $1,000 package. That's $474 per coin. There's 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 25,000, 50,000, 100,000, 250,000, 500, and $1 million package. If you buy $1 million package, you could get it at $2 per coin. Okay? So you would end up with 500,000 of these coins. But if that were true, and the market were true, and then you could go sell it for $240, you could give them $1 million right now, sell tomorrow, and take home $120 million. Does anybody think this is a real opportunity? I could hand you $1 million right now. As soon as it hits my wallet, I could sell it for $240 million. Does that sound like a real opportunity that's really happening? And how many times could they possibly let someone do that? Oh, look who shows back up. Like a fart in the wind. Legends back. Imagine that. I just don't. Why would everybody not be doing this? Why would Warren Buffett not just be spamming this over and 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 over again? Why is it being offered to little old ladies who don't understand crypto? It seems like, Jamie Dimon, Warren Buffett, rich, famous, powerful people would just be doing it again and again and again. It's an infinite money loop. 1 million for fucking 240 million over and over and over. Just hit print again and again and again and again and again. But instead, it's being sold to little old ladies, and they're being told, right? Basically, you're buying something for really cheap, and it's already worth a lot of money, but you're getting an introductory offer. But they have to hold it for 6 months. There's a 6-month lockup period. What do you think's going to be the price of this at the end of the 6 months? When they get close to the point where they can actually sell, what do you think the value is actually going to be? When everybody fucking drops out and takes their money and fucking runs because they're pumping the shit out. Feels like we got it locked up because we don't want to pump and dump. You're pumping the shit out of it right now. You know what comes after the fucking pump, right?
And then 60 to 90. And here we are just 10, 12 days later, I think it was. That token is holding steady over $200. Let me tell you why that's important. And I'm going to kind of just abbreviate what I said earlier. If you didn't watch my Telegram video earlier, you should definitely do that. We've now established a foundation for that token. I really don't see.
Should we go watch? Let me see the Telegram video. Is it worth watching?
This is now the third shirt you've seen me in today. I'm making up for wearing the same shirt in the first video this morning. So now we're even. At least I think we are. And if you don't think we are, then I don't care. I think we are. That's all that matters to me. All right, listen up. I want to tell you something that I just did. And this is different coming from me, because I don't do this. I, Phil Godlewski, I can't believe I'm even saying this. I liquidated some silver today. I had a little bit of XRP. I think I told you guys that. I don't know if I did. I had a little bit. I had like $10,000 worth of XRP. Just, why not? You know, I bought it when, remember that dip that happened a couple weeks ago with XRP? I bought 10 grand. I knew it was going to go back up to like $1.50, $2, and I made money on it. I made a decent amount of money on it, actually. Cash that out today. Sold it. Now, keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't claim to be. I don't pretend to be. I don't want to be. The things I speak about with you guys, I do myself too. Just every one of them, in fact. Whether it's 7K or LifeWave or Atom or Jiggle or Silver or Gold or whatever. I do all this stuff too. So I'm in the same boat that you're all in. Today, I liquidated XRP for profit. And I liquidated silver. Why is that important? Because I've never done that. Today is the first day that I've ever done that. And the reason I've done that is because I'm putting all of that money into Atlas tokens. Does that mean you have to do the same? No, of course not. Of course not. But I think the graphic that I made you earlier, not the graphic, but the chart that I posted earlier of the large increase of Atlas between $22, $23 that I was at yesterday and the upper 30s that it's at now. I think it's a foregone conclusion, and I think it's very obvious what's happening here. These Atlas tokens, as well as the Jiggle tokens, but the Atlas tokens specifically, because there was 18 months that's gone by since it went from 15 cents a token up to where it's at now. People are finally able to start burning them, selling them, because there was a waiting period, of course, which is the same thing with Jiggle. And now that they are being burned, or will be burned soon, new tokens are available to sell for a higher valuation, and that drives the price up. Now, these tokens are strategically connected to our technology, to our blockchain sports technology. Jiggle is connected to our Jiggle technology. The Atlas tokens and that technology with blockchain sports is about to explode with what we have coming next week. So you're seeing minor increases right now. When I say minor, $23 to $39, that's minor. That's not big. Not yet. You'll see big a week from now. Maybe a little more than that, but not much. You have an opportunity to come in with this token, which is a very strategically controlled token. We do not allow this to.
It's impossible for them all to make money on this, right? You understand that, right? They're pumping it up with the money they're putting in it, and someone's going to sell and reap the rewards before anybody else can, and that's where all the money's going to
go to speculation like XRP and Kool-Aid that everybody drinks with XRP. There are groups that I've seen with XRP maniacs. To the moon! 10,000 a token! I mean, by all means. But for me, what I'm offering is tangible, and it already has proven results. Now, we're not talking so much about Jiggle, are we? Jiggle is a great investment. Look at how many tokens you could get for Jiggle right now. But Atlas, what's going to happen with Jiggle 18 months from now? 18 months from the time you bought them. Why? Because we know what we're doing. Not doing anything illegal. We are completely straight as an arrow by the book. Do I know for certain these things are going to happen with the tokens and stuff? No one knows anything for certain. I'm not God. You're not God. Anything could happen at any time. There could be a massive AI tech breach, and then our technology, many things could happen. There's risk associated with absolutely any investment. Any investment. That's metals, that's tokens, that's Bitcoin, XRP, that's whatever, anything.
He does. He over-explains things, and it makes simple-minded people think that he's very intelligent, and it makes smart people think that he's trying to scam them.
Stock market risk, always. So there's no guarantee that these things will happen. All I could point to is what has already happened. 18 months ago, those Atlas tokens were sold for 15 cents. Can you get them for 15 cents now? 2 days ago, 1 day ago, the Atlas tokens were available to buy on Boostify, on my website, at $50 packs and $100 packs. Do you see those packs available anymore? Nope. Hey, you know that $1,000 pack that you see on Boostify right now? You think that's going to be around very long? Nope. Strategic value. Strategic controlled value. With military-like precision. That's what I'm offering. You want to be a part of that? Join me. By the way, we're selling pieces of the company. You can invest, become an owner of this. You think the Atlas tokens are making money? Wait till you see what our company valuation does in the next 6 months, over the next 6 months. What do you think happens to a company valuation when one of your cryptocurrencies that is part of the ecosystem of Atom Ventures of your company, what do you think happens to that company's valuation when one of your tokens goes from $22 to $39? What do you think happens to the overall valuation of the company? I know what happens. What if that token were to go to like $50 from 22 or 23? $75? What would happen to the valuation of the company that holds that token, that owns that token? The moon's not high enough. We're going to bounce that mother effer off the firmament. Love you guys. Link down below.
There you go. Back to the video.
See the token dropping below $200 a token, which is ridiculous. And we're going to talk about why it's ridiculous in a second. Where's my chain? Oh, it's not. Okay. The basic principles of a token drop is you'll see a rise in price as the token's going up in value.
Drinking warm water with cinnamon before bed eliminates this parasite from the pancreas and resets blood sugar levels and reverses type.
We call that pumping. The token's being pumped up, and it happens for various reasons: interest in the token, availability of the token, and so forth. So as it's going up, you'll also see volatility
and so forth
coming down, but then it'll go up again. Momentum will push it back up again. And what we saw was a rise, a slight knockdown, and then another rise, and then steady. And it's been steady now for a good 24 to 48 hours. And what that means is the market is kind of now accepting that value for the Atlas token. And that means great stuff for anyone that's trying to get into the Atlas tokens. Now, today's the deadline. Today's March 3rd. By midnight tonight, there was a deadline set for the prices to go up. Okay. Right now, you could get those Atlas tokens. And this is crazy. This is the crazy part about the whole Atlas thing. You could buy them during our current investment round for anywhere from $2 to $5. They're over $200 a token on the open market right now.
You can buy them for $5 max, and they're over $200 value.
Now, talk about a couple things that happened today. CoinZoom, who is our trusted partner for facilitating the purchasing of the Atlas tokens, ran into some major technical glitches. So because of that, and because of they had some liquidity problems with the tokens or whatever, so because of that, and because of a couple other factors that were completely out of our control at Atom Ventures and everything else, we are officially extending the deadline for the price increase of the Atlas tokens by 24 hours. So you will no longer only get until tonight at midnight, March 3rd. Once the clock ticks to March 4th, it would have went up. It's not the case now. 24-hour extension will go into effect, and that'll put it at tomorrow, 11:59 p.m.
I was trying to see if the price changed at all. No.
For the price increase to go up. So you will have a short period where you could still get in on this before the rise happens. I'm telling you guys, we know what we're doing. We know what we're doing. This token is very well placed as a utility token. It could be used by anyone within the blockchain sports ecosystem that goes from professional clubs, whether it's a soccer club, baseball club, football club, a basketball club, whatever it is. We have some excellent technology that is tied to that token, and that token is used as our currency within the blockchain sports ecosystem. So there is a strong utility behind it. Look at this one over here, Candyman. See you, buddy? There's a strong utility use behind the token, and that is really what's driving the price up. And the other thing is people were able to sell their tokens in this past week, and they didn't. Some did, but the majority didn't. So what that means is our holders of the token are very confident in the token. And that spells great news for the value of the token. Now, if you buy into these Atlas tokens, they are locked. You can't do anything with them for 6 months, and that's strategic. We don't want
locked for 6 months.
Pump and dump. We don't want somebody buying up all these tokens, price going up, and then poof, mass sell-off. You know what that does to the price? We're not interested in that. So from the very day you buy the tokens, they are locked for 6 months. 6 months later, you could sell. It's probably going to be about 5% of your tokens. And then every 30 days thereafter, it's probably going to be about 5% more.
So not only are they locked for 6 months, but you can only sell a percentage of so you can sell 5% and then 5%, so 5% per month, right? So it take you 20 months to sell them. And if the price goes into free fall, because guess who's not locked typically in these types of scenarios? The early investors, the owners, the whales, they call them, the big investors, the people who have put millions and millions of dollars into this. It's just so you could pump it up for them. The people who bought it when it was like 0.0001 cent, or were just giving it to them for free, they don't have restrictions. They can dump at any point. They can dump at any point. You can dump in 6 months. You can get rid of yours in 6 months, and it'll take you 20 months to do it. So 26 months to get rid of your investment.
You have a 24-month vesting period, maximum 24-month vesting period. That may
2 years.
Change too, depends on a couple factors that we have yet to determine. And 6-month lock. After 6 months, you can sell a little bit at whatever the current value is. We strive to keep that value high so that if you want to sell 5% of your tokens and really get a good return on your investment, you can do that. So I'm super excited about where blockchain sports is going. I'm super excited about what the value of our token has done. And I'm really, really excited to get you guys on board with this. So if you're still interested in the tokens, you have a 24-hour extension as of right now from midnight tonight to midnight tomorrow. It was supposed to be midnight tonight. Now it's going to be midnight tomorrow. The link is down below in the description of this video to get on Boostify. You have to use my Boostify link to get the prices that are there. The more tokens you buy, the price goes down. So it could be as little as $2 a token up to $5 a token for the smallest pack, which I think is still $1,000. Okay, so even a $1,000 token pack right now gets you, I believe it's 211 tokens, something like that. 211 tokens at a let's just say a $200 token valuation. Not a bad little return on $1,000, is it? And we are just beginning. We are just beginning. Somebody over here in chat said, sell them individually. No, that's not how it works. Not in an investment round. You will be able to buy an individual token, an individual Atlas token, or an individual Jiggle token in the future, but not during an investment round. That's once the company goes.
So he's saying, invest 1,000 and your investment will be worth 42,000 whenever you can sell it, I guess.
Public. So the link, somebody's asking for the link. The link is down below. It'll say, what do I have it saying? Let me see. Price increase soon for Atlas tokens, and then there's a link that says boostify.com/ref equals Phil Godleski. That is where you buy both Atlas and Jiggle tokens. And then, of course, we still have partnership positions open for...
So 893,000 tokens are owned by the purchasers/advisors. 641,000 owned by the Community Growth Fund. 586,000 to contributors and the foundation, $510,000 to LP incentives, and $369,000 to DEX and KEX, CEX, DEX and CEX liquidity, for a total of 3 million tokens.
Adam Ventures. Adam Ventures, yes, $1,000 is the lowest package. Who has $1,000? Where's the tariff? Well, a lot of people have $1,000. We've sold tens of thousands of purchases for this, so many people do. If you don't, I sympathize with you. I get it, but you can't say that your situation is everyone else's. Somebody else just asked here, anything on the Adam Venture $20,000 to $500,000 group? Yeah, that group is still being formed. We haven't closed that out yet. If you're interested in that group and you still want to take part, we could close it out whenever we want, but we're trying to let everybody get in before the next investment round opens. That's when we'll officially shut that group down. But that link is down below too. It'll say become a partner of Adam Ventures by equity, whatever. That link is down there too. I think it starts with Adam. Okay. Yeah, adam.boostify.com/Phil.Lesky, become an Adam Ventures partner with a share of equity. So with that investment, you are not buying tokens. You are buying a piece of the company that owns all of the entities that we have. Blockchain Sports, Jiggle. So with that investment, so Adam, okay, officially shut that group down. But that link is down below too. It'll say become a partner of Adam Ventures by equity, whatever. That link is down there too. I think it starts with Adam. Okay. Yeah, adam.boostify.com/Phil.Lesky, become an Adam Ventures partner with a share of equity. So with that investment, you are not buying tokens. You are buying a piece of the company that owns all of the entities that we have. Blockchain Sports, Jiggle, Neurodesign, all the ones that we've gone over the last few weeks. So there is, a lot of people have been asking me privately, well, what's the better way to go? Well, if you just buy Atlas tokens, you are tied to that particular token if you're looking for profit as a singularity. That is your only tie-in. If you buy Jiggle and you only have Jiggle, you got to focus on Jiggle. But if you buy Atom, you have all of those. As the tokens rise, as the values of these tokens rise, the value of Atom Ventures, the valuation of Atom Ventures goes up as well. When you have a token that's worth $20 and then went up to $200 in just a couple weeks' time because of things that we've been doing on a company level, that company's worth a lot more. So my answer to everybody is Atom Ventures is the better investment. To get a piece of equity in a company that's flying high, that's the decision. But I can't get financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. That's what I would do. And that's what I've done. Look at what I've done. Just look at the history of what now, do I own tokens? Yeah, sure, why not? But I have the money to do so. But if you are deciding what to do with your piece of wealth that you have, the short answer is if you have a $20,000 or more investment, it's Atom Ventures. If you have less than that, let's say you have 20,000 and an additional 20,000, maybe get some Atom Ventures equity and get some tokens. It just depends on how much you have. This is going to be individual for everybody. Okay, so great stuff. So anyway, we're going to move on to the next portion of tonight's live now, but I want to let you guys know that we have extended the deadline for the price increase. You can still buy them after the price increase goes up. They're just going up. It's probably going to be a 2-time increase, double what they are now. So it'll go from $2 best pack, $5 smallest pack to $4 and $10. That's what's going to happen. But it won't happen at the end of today. It will happen at the end of tomorrow. Okay, and that's because of some glitches with CoinZoom and everything else. Okay, now somebody just said over here, I scraped up $1,000 to get the Atlas token. Mine is worth $45,000 right now. I just bought last Friday. Yep. Can you tell us?
Not a real message, but there you go.
Owners of Atom are? Well, me. Let's start with that.
How the ones that were fooled not report him? The president is doing the same thing. Who the fuck are they going to report him to? The president of the United States did a pump and dump meme coin.
Dimitri, my partner Dimitri. There are Brad Barton is a partial owner as well, and there's about another 5 or 6 owners altogether. And we all have different mechanisms. We have different strengths. We have different things that we bring to the company to make the company great. Dimitri Saxonoff is a visionary. He's brilliant. He's a brilliant guy.
Phil brings nothing to the table. He just had a bunch of money and said, "Hey, I can scam my followers day and night. I'll dump a bunch of money in to scam my followers day and night."
Absolutely brilliant. And he is a lot like me. He is the Belarus version of Phil. I've never met another version of Phil ever. What are you doing? Lay down somewhere, will you? I don't want to get back on camera. It's not going to happen. So yeah, he's a great guy. He's the guy that everybody answers to. And we work very, very well together. We talk every single day at length. Smart as the day is long. I talked to him in Panama about like his IQ because I sense I like to know if I'm the smartest person in the room IQ wise, and 99.7% of the time I am. With him, I don't know. He never had his IQ checked, but smart guy. Brad Barton's with us in a different capacity, and there's a few people that I don't even know if they want their names mentioned, so I'm not gonna get into any further. But yeah, good stuff. All right, now next topic. This one I'm excited about. Well, I'm excited about Atlas too, but gonna put a quick video on screen, very quick.
Phil has this story he tells his followers that he was some type of childhood genius. His mom said he was like a C&D student, but Phil was a genius recruited by the CIA for some CIA summer camp.
Just let me find it real quick. I believe that I've played this before.
All right, here we go. We're moving on to, also, not only is he a genius with the highest IQ in the room 99.7% of the time, he testified under oath that he was scammed by an email that he got into thinking he attended Harvard Business School. He used to have a fucking diploma on the wall that said Harvard Business School conflict resolution something. And when we went to court, they asked him about it, and he's like, they're like, well, we checked. You've never been to Harvard or any of these other colleges you claimed. He's like, I haven't. Well, I thought I had. It was, it was something I did through email and did the course online. I haven't been to Harvard. Is that what you're telling me? And they're like, no. And he's like, oh, well, I must have been scammed or something.
I'm gonna play it again. Here we go.
He just printed out a diploma. He literally went on and typed in Harvard diploma, fillable format, PDF.
You testified that about $1 trillion you think is lost in fraud every year. Where's this money going? I mean, we know if someone's going to Minnesota, it went overseas, it went to some...
Okay, stop. This is Senator Josh Hawley. Josh Hawley he would be my pick for president of the United States over anybody, excluding Donald Trump, of course. I think Josh Hawley is absolutely brilliant, and it's not an act with him. It is real. So this is a congressional hearing about the fraud that was recently investigated, that is occurring through the IRS. Now, is the IRS responsible for this? I don't think they're allowing it to happen. Maybe they are. I don't know that. But I do know that it's happening nonetheless. Our money, our taxpayer money, is what Josh Hawley is talking about in this video. And I want you to listen very, 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 we have a huge audience here tonight. I want you to listen very closely to what Josh Hawley asks this man and what this man's answers are. I want you to listen very closely. Again, for context, he's talking about upwards of $1 trillion that was missing from last year. Missing. And that $1 trillion is our taxpayer money.
Here is a post on Reddit from a year ago. The name of this project is called Limitless Blockchain, which is this project. It runs on its own network called Atleta Mainnet, but the Limitless platform currently runs on the Tron network, leveraging blockchain technology to ensure transparency and integrity in sports-related projects. The project is about Limitless is a blockchain sports ecosystem. They've rebranded, but some of this shit still says Limitless. With over 30 million invested, aiming to raise $2 billion via crowdfunding, it focuses on building soccer academies worldwide, starting in Brazil. Members can earn digital rewards and real-world royalties. Funded in 2021, Limitless has over 240,000 members and previously raised $660 million. The platform ensures transparency and integrity in sports through blockchain technology. They want me to buy a package anywhere from regular nodes to founder node, and I will get perks and grandfathered in. I haven't heard all this in the past and want to make sure I do my due diligence in being cautious. They will launch this September 1st and depends on packages that you buy. You will receive a portion of certain things like percentage of network fees, token mint fees, and the retail users. Let me know what you guys think, please. Sincere feedback, genuine questions, and help. Edit number 1. P.S. I forgot. Please forget the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. They are presenting this as it's the next Uber Airbnb. Can anyone look into this for me? My uncle is in deep and got everybody in. I'm worried. Blockchain Sports is a versatile blockchain ecosystem for athletes, bettors, organizations, and fans aiming to integrate blockchain technology into sports. Their platform enhances transparency, security, and data authenticity. The Atleta Network, a specialized blockchain, supports decentralized applications, smart contracts, and a native coin. The Atla coin for transactions, governance, and staking. Upcoming features include a DEX, scouting services, and an NFT marketplace. Their mission is to democratize access to major league sports and advanced sports careers through innovative technology. Here's their official website. And literally the very first and most liked comment says, from 2 years ago. This is from 2 years ago. Says, it's a scam. All the numbers are lies. There is no reason for a chain of football academies to have its own blockchain or token. Even if it weren't a scam, why the fuck would anybody invest in this? It sounds all over the place. Once-in-a-lifetime opportunity are rarely presented as such. People don't know before it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Whenever someone mentions once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, leave the room, run. People don't hand out once-in-a-lifetime opportunities labeled that way. They guard them like their life depends on it. Run. Absolutely do not have anything to do with this company or any company that talks like this. No. Is it legit or scam? Scam. Once in a lifetime opportunity. Yeah, that's a scam. I didn't even read the rest of the post. Scam. Don't even have to read the details to know it's a scam. Once in a lifetime opportunities, don't go around finding participants. Yeah, if this was such a once in a lifetime opportunity, you wouldn't have to go around fleecing 10,000 people in your audience, right? Again, Warren Buffett would fund it and be like, I've never heard such a good idea. I will give you my billions. Just take it. Yes, it is a big Europe thing. They're bringing it to the American market. I forgot you were in Europe. Actually, the guy went to jail for a while in Europe. He just got out like last October or some shit. The founder, Dimitri, he keeps talking about. If you have to ask, it's a scam. It is. Anything on Trump these days is a fucking scam, or at least a hint towards a scam. Is the founder's name Justin? Obviously, it's a scam. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of there as long as you still can. It's a scam. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, an opportunity for you to get scammed. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, especially since. Now, I'm not saying nobody will make money, right? I'm not saying nobody will make money. Phil and his friends will make money. The people they gave free tokens to, imagine they want me to promote this and they give me 1 million free tokens to promote it because I have a huge audience and I tell you to buy it. I don't give a fuck if it's at 15 cents or it's at $1,500. I mean, of course, I would like to be to be higher at $1,500 per coin or $15,000 per coin, but I have no money in it. When I go to sell it, it's all fucking profit. So I'm incentivized to get you to invest and pump and pump and pump and pump and pump and pump and pump. But it's not like Phil's taking this gigantic risk. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh my God, I've invested so much of my own money, it has to do good or I'll be ruined. He gets the shit, or most of the people that promote this shit just get free coins. A huge seed round for influencers that are going to bring in 10,000 people through their audience. You know what I'm saying? Yes, this already went around Europe. Yes, the guy was arrested. Yes, he was charged. It had to do with all the football clubs, basically. And then the football clubs were like, no, we don't really have anything to do with that. And then the fans were like, well, we bought it. And they said they represented you and we were going to be able to buy and trade players and clubs and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no. And he ended up going to jail.
I want you to listen to Josh's questions and I want you to listen to this gentleman's answers.
You testified that about $1 trillion you think.
Now, this is the part about taxes that I wanted to get to. Do not do this. This is not a legal way to avoid taxes. Sovereign citizens have been trying this for a long time. And even if you were going to do it this way, you shouldn't be paying whatever amount you have to pay. Phil says he got $1,000 off. If I got you $1,000 off the price of something, what do you think the cost of that thing is? Clearly, it's not $1,000 or it'd be free. We're probably talking about $5,000 or $10,000, to get $1,000 off. Or maybe he's doing as a great service and it just costs $3,000. He got $1,000 taken off.
And fraud every year. Where's this money going? I mean, we know where some of it's going to Minnesota. We went overseas, went to Somalia, went to NGO fronts. We know where it's gone in some other states. California gave away billions of dollars to a pro-Hamas NGO.
Bort doesn't understand enough about crypto to explain when somebody's getting scammed in crypto, right? He just doesn't understand.
$1 trillion nationally, where's this money going to?
I appreciate that question because most people don't ask that question. It goes to terrorism. It goes to child trafficking. It goes to drugs. It goes to terrorism. And then it's used to purchase.
You said terrorism twice, and it's been proven that it didn't go to terrorism, but go ahead.
Items, cars, purses, homes. That's all funded by people like me that pay taxes.
So you're telling me that the electrician who goes to work every day and clocks in and works his butt off and tries to earn just enough to be able to make his rent, maybe have a kid or two, put food on the table, his tax money is being used to buy other people luxury items, cars, yachts, whatever else, and it's going to fund terrorism and child trafficking?
Yes, sir.
$1 trillion a year on this stuff?
$115 million an hour.
$115 million an hour. How do they get their hands on it? What are we talking about here? Trends, national organizations, criminal networks? How do they get their hands on it?
They take advantage of antiquated government systems and processes. They go into programs that they know elected and appointed officials won't touch, and they can steal at scale. And what happened really was during the pandemic, between the PPP loans and the unemployment insurance, they learned a really valuable lesson. Government never runs out of money, and the probability of getting caught is virtually zero. I have it at 0.1%.
Pardon me.
Phil, you scam. Like, what's funny here? Phil and his wife at the time literally got fraudulent PPP loans. Oh, what? You're telling me that people are scamming the government with my taxpayer money? You and your ex-wife got fraudulent PPP loans. What are you talking about, bro?
Pardon me. I just want to clarify this. So, the average American, me and you, we work. Some much harder than others. And the ones that do work the hardest generally pay way too much taxes for what their income is.
They both filed individually as if they were they were each businesses. They were real estate agents at the time. They both got PPP loans, and basically they said that it was to keep employees on, but they're the only fucking employee. They just filed as one person companies and as their own boss and their own employee and got loans to keep themselves on.
In terms of income tax. We work. We pay our civic duty and pay Uncle Sam our taxes, right? And because of antiquated systems, which are no doubt in place on purpose, so this fraud could be perpetuated, right?
Yes. So it depends. There's different types of MAGA people. But there are some, like the parents on the Necessary Conversation podcast, that buy everything that Trump puts his name on and tells them to buy. I know people that have heard a fake Trump AI ad for something and bought it because they thought it was the real Trump telling them to go buy it.
Right.
This is what 92 hair washes can do in 6 months. Not 10 washes, not 30 washes. Exactly.
Because of that.
Not all Trump supporters, but there are Trump supporters like that.
Our money goes to
Phil on his show. This guy we're watching right here on his Telegram channel ran fake AI Trump saying there was one that looked kind of like an Amex card, like an American Express card, but it had Trump's picture on it and his signature in gold, but it's a black card. And it said that you would be given universal basic income of like $45,000 a year, that your house debt would be forgiven, that your car loan would be forgiven, and that you would have universal basic health care if you bought this card. And you could buy them in packs up to 10. Everybody had to have their own individual card. It wasn't like one per family, like it was one per person. And you could buy them into packs up to 10 for like $150 per card. And then down at the bottom, it would say, this is memorabilia only, no claims in this are factual, blah, 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 in fine print. It was literally just a fake credit card with Donald Trump on it. But they were telling people that was the Trump card. And that's how you got universal basic income, universal health care, debt forgiveness, and all these other things was with this card. And you had to get one for each member of your family. And again, they were selling them by the fucking 10 pack at $150 per card.
Traffic children? Well, I'm not okay with that. I'm also not okay with terrorism and drugs.
If you just bought one, I think it was like $250 or something.
Smuggling and all the other things, paying for somebody's fancy yacht on my dime. I'm also not okay with those things, but you're going to traffic a child for illicit purposes with our money?
Phil scammed so hard in the early days with stuff like that. I called him out on it about these are fake, or it says like memorabilia only, blah, blah, blah. But your advertisement does not claim that. Your advertisement, when you post, it doesn't say, hey, I just thought this was funny, or do not buy this. It literally lays it out like, this is how you get, your Nasara Gasara money and blah, 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 all the weird stuff they believe in. When I called him out, he said those weren't his ads. He didn't get paid for posting them. I know that's a lie because I made a fake account and asked him about posting ads and how much it cost, how much I would have to pay him. It was a lot. But he claimed that he did not get paid for those ads. Instead, that needy kids in his QAnon community that wanted to make money to support their families had approached him and asked if he would share their ads to make money. That needy QAnon kids were running these complex internet scams from fucking Pakistan because they're all overseas, so you can't shield. Like, Phil's all I got to say is like, I was just told to share the post and they'd pay me $20,000. But the other people are in fucking Pakistan. He said there was needy kids from his community running those ads. Like, the dude's fucking slimy as fuck. But anyways, he was so slimy that he shut down one Telegram channel and deleted everything off of it to start a new one that was less slimy, right? Probably because he didn't want a paper trail.
Mm-mm. Now, you guys that have been following me, you know, since the very first time I spoke about taxes and the IRS and the Federal Reserve and the central banking system, the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and Prescott Bush and all these different things, you know that I know that taxes are a scam. You know that I've known that. I've told you that it is a scam. But this video,
IRS is a scam,
really infuriated me. Like I've never been infuriated before. $115 million an hour, every hour, for an entire year.
If every fucking social program we've ever put out whatsoever was a fucking scam.
And that money is being used to traffic children. And it's bad enough that it's being used to traffic children, but it's our money. We are doing that. Obviously, we're not directly doing it. We're not knowingly taking our money and we get a sheet of paper that says, well, this much of it is going to go to child sex trafficking and this much is going to terrorism because no one will ever pay it then, right? But guess what? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you know that it's happening or not. It's still happening. I saw this video and I have literally been thinking about this video for the last 2 or 3 weeks since it happened. And I cannot stomach the thought of paying another dollar to the IRS. No effing way. No way. So, started digging.
The biggest abuser and frauds are usually corporations, and especially like in Medicaid, Medicare fraud.
I started digging and I put all of my efforts into finding a way to not pay these sons of bitches anymore ever again. And I found it. I found it. There is a way to exclude yourself from paying income tax for life. And it is perfectly legal, and there is nothing that they could do about it.
What? Surely you're not just going to have them register as unincorporated associations and then claim that they have tax exempt status and charge them thousands of dollars to fill out that paperwork, right?
I found a way and I found the guy.
Uh-oh.
And you could take part in it right now. Sign the damn papers that you need to sign right now, because I'm telling you right now, I am not ever again going to pay a dollar to these scumbags. Not until I know that my taxes are protected and they're going towards my country, and not just to a central banking system of a foreign entity that hates America. And no, it's not declaring yourself sovereign. It's not, has nothing to do with the couple people that I mentioned this to over the last couple of days. Oh, it sounds like a sovereign citizen thing. No, it's not that. You voluntarily pay your taxes. How many people get letters in the mail from the IRS? Let me tell you a little known fact, very little known fact. You get a letter in the mail, you throw it away. You're like, shit, well, I don't have that money. You throw it away. You know what that does? Do you know what the letter says in fine print? Do you know what it says on the IRS's website? Do you know what their rules are? It says that if you don't respond to the letter, you're agreeing to what they're saying in the letter.
Ah, fuck.
They send you a letter and they say, hey, you owe $20,000 in tax. And you're like, what? Why would I owe $20,000 in tax? And you're like, this is bullshit. And you just get the letter and you're like,
yeah, this same thing Phil's doing, kinda. I mean, it's a big company. He makes it seem like it's one guy that's figured this out. It's a big company, but he mentioned it in a second, Brad.
Guess what? By you doing your little thing and having your little temper tantrum, you just agreed that you owe $20,000 in tax. You got to respond. If you don't respond, you are literally agreeing to their assessment of what you owe. And there's much more than that. There's much more than that. And thankfully, I did not have to get involved at the level that I would have gotten involved if it meant saving our tax dollars from these scumbags that can't keep track, or at best, can't keep track of the money that's going in. So that $1 trillion a damn year, for Lord knows how long, is getting funneled to terrorists and pedophiles and child molesters and greedy, power-hungry dirtbags. It's bad enough if they can't keep track of the money and that thing is happening. But perhaps they are perpetuating it. Perhaps they do know what's happening. And they're letting it happen. That could be the worst case scenario. The people that actually collect our taxes are the same people that are doing these things to children. And you're paying them. And by the way, you're paying them voluntarily. It's disgusting. And I will never do it again. And I was determined, since I saw this interview, since I saw this hearing rather, to find a way to cut them off. This is my version of the Trump card. This is my version of getting everybody I possibly can to stop the flow of money into the cabal's pocket. Because that's what it is. Taxes are, you're paying the cabal. And everybody gets so damn scared. They get so scared of, oh, if I don't pay my taxes, I'm going to go to jail. Do you know how many people go to jail for not paying taxes? Very, very few. It's like, I think it's under 1%. So they put a lien on your property. That's illegal too. They can't do that either. But you have to know what to do to get yourself out of paying these taxes. You have to know what to do. Well, I know what to do. I know what to do. I figured it out. And it is way easier than you think. Now, the service isn't free because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for the company that I've partnered with to do. But I got you $1,000 off the price of this. Please do everything you could to, if it's not right now, sometime in the near future, save up the money that you need. And I don't know exactly how much it is, actually. I think it's a few $1,000s or something. I don't know. But you're going to sign up with my link. My link's in the description of this video. Could I put it on the screen? I think I could. Let's see. Now, the link that I put on the screen is not going to be clickable, but it is in the description of this video, and that's only if you're watching on Rumble. Please, for the love of God, do not click any links that are in... Wait, here we go. It's working? No. Oh, there we are. Look what I did. I'm a hacker, super hacker. Do not click links that are in the damn comments. Don't click links that are in the live chat. They're not real. They're fake. You're going to get scammed. That is the website to go to right there. betaxfree.net/Phil. That'll get you my discount. Now, there's going to be an area after you fill out the application where you use a code. There's the code, Phil17. Doesn't matter. Capital letters don't matter. Lower levels, it makes no difference. Whatever. Okay? That is the service that you need. That will opt you out of paying income tax. And I'm not saying save you on income tax. I'm saying you will not pay it anymore. This guy, his name is Kirk Carmichael, is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And this guy used to be, I think he was like the 9th highest taxed person in all of California. He hasn't paid income tax for 9 years. And he has more income now than he did back then. 9 years, no income tax. Yes, I will put it on my Telegram channel. It's actually a very good idea. I'll do that right now while I'm sitting here, actually.
So this guy is an author and shit. He wrote a book called Eliminate Income Tax, blah, 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 all this stuff. He's kind of an influencer. So listen. All
right, it's also on Telegram. I just put it there, 6:49 p.m. Eastern. I'm sorry, I don't know what time zone I'm in. I'm in Arizona, so whatever it is, 6:49 for me.
Listen to Phil, then we're going to cover some of it.
Eastern zone. But that is the link. It will completely opt you out of the tax system. You are there, and nobody knows this, but you are there voluntarily because.
And he even says he'll save you $1,000. So if we go to that website, it pulls this up. I'm going to close some tabs because I'm getting way too many open, and it's fucking with my fucking ADHD or some shit. All right. So this is the website that it sends you to. If you type in this shit with Phil/Phil.
Why is the IRS taking so much of my money? Why would you bring
Weird AI video
onto my vessel? I thought we were all in the same boat and pay our taxes. You mean taxation without representation? You should have never worn a red coat on this ship with those ridiculous forms. You don't even live in D.C. I've been rolling in my grave since 1913. Why are you binding yourself to a contract to Washington, D.C. that has no bearing on you? For this reason, we set the 13 colonies free from this type of tax. Do you know what this document is? It protects you from a direct tax from the national government. Which of these would you rather live by? What about you? Do you also sign binding contracts every April 15th? Click the link below and regain your freedom. Hey, George.
All right. So it says, do like George says and complete the form below to learn how to break the contract you signed so long ago. And of course, this has a cookie tracking link for Phil. So if you sign up, then you go under Phil, who referred you. It automatically fills in Phil Godlewski, right? I'm not a robot. This has a tracking cookie for Phil. But where does this website go? I'm not putting in that shit in the tracking link. But where does this website go and what does it do? Well, it brings you here. I think. Okay. UNA, unincorporated associations. The secret to success is to own nothing but control everything. Nelson Rockefeller. Begin your own unincorporated association today. What is an unincorporated association? When you reorganize your financial affairs and shift your tax liability onto a private organization by beginning a member-based entity called an unincorporated association.
Control of your assets and personal freedom with a private association from unincorporatedAssociations.com. We create your custom association with proper registration and documentation and then transfer the asset to you for your control.
By the way, you can go straight to the IRS's website and print off these forms and fill them out. You don't need them.
You and your members enjoy the freedom to operate privately without annual fees or complicated requirements. Join our daily 10 a.m. Q&A call to understand how a private association can protect and...
Oh, thank you. Any random user. Appreciate the light streams. Great too. Let me go read the rest of that. Hold on. I have to let it refresh. Watch this video, then I'll read the rest of it. Oh, I appreciate the light streams. Great to watch while I'm working late. Thank you. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it.
Simplify your life. We offer lifetime teaching and support, so when you join our community, you can start building your freedom today.
Now, this is the website you go to if... now, Phil said he personally knows this guy. He says... This is a great guy. I know him. I talked to him. I found him. The deal I'll get you is, now remember this deal. I'll get you $1,000 off the price, right? That's what he said. I'm saving you $1,000. And the only reason Phil can get this deal is because he personally knows this guy, right? He reached out to him. He found him. He was so upset. He found this guy and he can get you $1,000 off. Okay, remember that. He also sells this book. This is the book I was talking about, Eliminate Income Tax. You'll learn everything you should have learned about income taxes and why you were never obligated to pay them. It's just $20 on Amazon. UNA is just like any other legal registered entity, a corp, a trust, LLC, etc. But an unincorporated nonprofit association, UNA, gives you the options the others do not. And it says entity registered with Secretary of State, has its own tax exempt number, is a private, not public, unsearchable entity. You manage your membership, conduct transactions through the UA, place all assets in the UA, is transferable, open accounts in the UA name, no annual fees. Join our daily call. They got conferences. When you're ready, sign up. What is a private unincorporated association? A private unincorporated association is a Secretary of State registered entity offering more convenient, flexible, and cost-effective ways to manage assets and transactions. Unlike corporations and LLCs, this association is private and not available to the public, giving you the privacy and control you desire. Tax-exempt EIN number, complete control over the membership, who's in it, privacy, asset management. You put all your assets in it. You can transfer those assets, minimal ongoing cost. Lifetime registration with no annual fee. Just a second. So Phil knows this guy. It seems like he's friends with him. He can get us this deal. And let's see. If we scroll back up to the top, we have this little tab over here. Remember, Phil's going to get you $1,000 off because he knows this guy. It's a buddy deal. But we have this tab up here that says affiliate. Affiliate. Let's see. Welcome. Okay. Thank you for welcoming me. Future non-taxpayer. Hell yeah.
Hello, and welcome to this short presentation. It's going to be interactive, so you'll be asked
I'm not
screen from time to time.
Not going to watch that.
You're interested in.
All right, anyways, and it says earn $500 for each person you refer. Earn $500 for each person you refer. That becomes tax-free. And you can even share a customized presentation like this as a pro affiliate. Okay, there's so Phil seems like he's earning $500 per person, but what else? Ready to become an affiliate for us? Complete the following affiliate sign-up form to register to refer others and earn $500 for every person. When you do, you help them eliminate their taxes year after year, and you help them save $1,000. Well, that's weird. I thought Phil was saving $1,000 off the price because he was such good friends with fucking Carmichael or whatever. Kirk Carmichael. But it seems like anybody can just sign up. You get $500 per person you refer, and they get $1,000 off. So maybe he's not such great friends with them. That's weird, right? No? And if you want to be a pro affiliate, you pay $300 to be an affiliate. But the regular affiliate is just free. Now, an unincorporated association is a real entity. It should be started by 2 or more people in a shared nonprofit or charitable purpose. So if you have like a hobby club, a neighborhood group, a temporary fundraising committees that are charitable or nonprofit, who want to organize quickly without formal, costly legal incorporation. It has deal for low-risk, small-scale, or temporary projects. Okay? The purpose is typically used for social, recreational, or charitable aims, like friends of such and such group or a literary club. Members may be personable, liable for debts or lawsuits against the association, as the entity usually lacks separate legal status. Now, the reason people start LLCs is to limit their liability, right? The company has a limited liability. As long as we don't pierce the corporate veil, the company has limited liability in things. When you start an unincorporated association, you, members, are liable for debts. When you owe the IRS money, what is that? Is that a debt? It has some flexibility because it's minimal to no registration or filing fees, providing ease of operation. It says you should avoid this if your group plans to hire employees, own significant property or assets, or engage in high liability activities. Incorporation is generally recommended instead. Legal standing. In some states, they are considered separate legal entities under UUNAA laws, while in others they are not. Federally, they are not. Groups often start as unincorporated associations to test the concept and later incorporate once they require greater liability protection or expand beyond their means. Okay? So that's a unincorporated liability that Phil wants you to be. Now, this guy charges thousands of dollars to do this, but hold on. But even if they incur any type of debt, you're liable for it, right? Okay? Now, nonprofits have to have a 501c3 status for their actual exemption. So it says file the annual Form 990 series, returns, blah, 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 by the 15th day of the 5th month after their fiscal year ends, and avoid private inurement. Failure to file for 3 consecutive years results in automatic revocation of the tax-exempt status. So you can be tax-exempt. You have to apply to be tax-exempt through the IRS, right? And you have to have a reason. There's requirements to be tax-exempt, okay? To be tax-exempt under Section 501c3 of the International Revenue Code, an organization must be organized and operated exclusively for exempt purposes. Exclusively. Not sometimes, or not I donate, or not sometimes we do. Exclusively for exempt. The exempt purposes set forth in the section are charitable, religious, church, educational, scientific, literary, testing for public safety, fostering national, international, amateur sports competition, and preventing the cruelty to children or animals. The term charitable is used, and it is generally accepted legal sense and includes relief of the poor, the distressed, or the underprivileged, advancements of religion, advancements of education or science, erecting or maintaining public buildings, monuments, or works, lessening the burdens of government, lessening neighborhood tensions, eliminating prejudice and discrimination, defending human and civil rights secured by the law, and combating community deterioration and juvenile delinquency. Again, that has to be your entire goal. That has to be the only thing that your company does. Okay? None of its earnings may inure to any private shareholder. 0% of the earnings that are made from the nonprofit can go to the private shareholder or an individual. In addition, it must be an action organization. It may not attempt to influence legislation as a substantial part of its activities, and it may not participate in any campaign or activity for or against any political candidates. Organizations described in Section 501c3 are commonly referred to as charitable organizations. Organizations described in 501c3, other than testing for public safety organizations, are eligible to receive tax-deductible contributions in accordance with Code Section 170. The organization must not be organized and operated for the benefit of private interests. That's you. You have a private interest in paying your bill, in buying a house, and buying a car, and making your payments. That's you. It must not be organized or operated for the benefit of your private interests. And no part of Section 501c3 organizations' net earnings may inure to the benefit of any private shareholder or individual. You. If the organization engages in an excess benefit transaction, you're paying your own bills with it. With a person having substantial influence over the organization, an excise tax may be imposed, and the person and any organization managers agreeing to the transaction. Section 501c3 organizations are restricted in how much political and legislative lobbying activities they may conduct. For a detailed discussion, see political and lobbying activities. For more information about the lobbying activities, blah, 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 blah. There's training, and here is an application process step by step. You could do this yourself. But instead, Phil needs you referred, where he can save you $1,000 because they're basically best friends, right? Save this $1,000 that anybody could help you save, and because he's best friends with this guy, and he gets the $500 per person.
Because you do not do the things that Kirk tells you to do. Every Tuesday, there's a 10 a.m. training call. Every Tuesday. This is a complete plug-and-play system. Literally all you do is sign up, pay the fee, fill out the documents that he tells you to fill out. He walks you through it. His whole team is there on standby. They walk you through it. And then there's ongoing education every single week. There are videos, there are testimonials, there's everything you need on the website. This guy figured it out. He figured out the system, and boy, have they tried to suppress him. But this is legit. It's legal. It's not sovereign citizen stuff. I know a lot of you believe in that, and that's fine too. I don't have any problem with that. But this is actually in the law. You are able to opt yourself out of paying income taxes. Please do it, because for crying out loud, if there's any reason why you ever had to come up with a reason to find the money to pay Kirk to do this for you, it's this.
You testified that about $1 trillion you think is lost in fraud every year. Where's this money going? I mean, we know where some of it's going to Minnesota. It went overseas, it went to Somalia, it went to NGO fronts. We know where it's gone in some other states. California gave away billions of dollars to a pro-Hamas NGO. But $1 trillion nationally, where's this money going to?
I appreciate that question, because most people don't ask that question. It goes to terrorism, it goes to child trafficking, it goes to drugs, it goes to terrorism, and then it's used to purchase luxury items, cars, purses, homes. That's all funded by people like me that pay taxes.
So you're telling me that the electrician who goes to work every day and clocks in and works his butt off and tries to earn just enough to be able to, make his rent, maybe have a kid or two, put food on the table, his tax money is being...
This is not a real thing. The problem is, it might take, I don't know. It depends on how many people. If they see a sharp influx in this, they might jump all over it. But it might take the fucking IRS 7 years to come after you. You know what I mean?
Used to buy other people luxury items, cars, yachts.
So Phil's going to have people saying, yeah, I didn't pay my taxes this year and nothing happened, for the next 2 years, 3 years. And by then he'll be fucking gone, right? Trump will be gone and dead, and everything will be fucking back to normal, hopefully. You think they're going to remember? You think he's still going to have a show in 7 years when the first few people start getting audited?
Whatever else, and it's going to fund terrorism and child trafficking?
Yes, sir.
$1 trillion a year on this stuff?
$115 million an hour.
$115 million an hour. How do they get their hands on it? What are we talking about here? Trends, national organizations, criminal networks? How do they get their hands on it?
They take advantage of antiquated government systems and processes. They go into programs that they know elected and appointed officials won't touch, and they can steal at scale. And what happened really was during the pandemic, between the PPP loans and the unemployment insurance, they learned a really valuable lesson. Government never runs out of money, and the probability of getting caught is virtually zero. I have it at 1/10 of 1%.
1/10 of 1%. 1/10 of 1%. That's the probability of them getting caught doing what they're doing. There's no way to know. So I'm reading the chat. I can see what you guys are saying. Well, Phil, you said Nasera, you said, IRS, you said Fed going away. You said, okay, well, if you want to wait until then, go ahead. I don't control, I don't control that, right? I don't control when that announcement's going to be made. I have very solid intel about what's happening and when it may or may not happen, but I don't control that. I can't just hit a button and be like, IRS is gone now. So this is not only good for your current taxes or your upcoming taxes, it's also good for past years. Module 4, I believe it is, on Kirk's training. And yes, Brad did talk about this. I think it was sometime last year, so some of you may have already done this. Hey, listen to me. You want to keep paying taxes in the meantime? You want to not file and just simply not file, even though you're still opted into the system and keep throwing those letters away? Choice is yours. I'm giving you an option to get yourself out of the system completely. There's a couple ways to do it. You can do it from an unincorporated association standpoint, or you could do it on a personal level. There's a bunch of different ways to do it. Kirk will examine your situation, and he will tell you the best way there is to do it. Link is right there.
He runs unincorporatedassociationsnow.com. He's going to put you in an unincorporated association. Get the fuck out of here.
Make sure you use code Phil17. Capital letters, lower letters do not matter. That is not a clickable link. Okay. If you're watching this video,
use code Phil17.
You cannot click that link. You have to literally type that into a browser. The clickable link is in the description of this video, not the comments, not the chat. The description. That's under the video where I type things. There's a couple links there. There's an Atla one, there's an Atom one, there's a tax-free one. Okay. All right. Now, I was excited for that because I cannot believe that our money goes for such nefarious means. Here's a good question. Not trying to sound like a biatch, but this is just a genuine question. If taxes are illegal to begin with, why should we need to pay someone else to get us out of paying them? Am I not saying this right? Yes. Taxes are treason, but you opted into paying them. You agreed to pay them.
Now you have to unagree. Got it.
They know that you have agreed to pay them, so they are sending you the bills because you agreed to it. And until you stop agreeing to it, the legal way, it's not as simple as just writing a letter to the IRS and be like, hey, I don't agree.
If I were to die tomorrow, I want every diabetic, including you, to know this. Type 2 is a completely...
Not only is it that, like, if this works, not only is it that simple, but they have a step-by-step guide on how to fill out the paperwork to register as, a 501c3. You can call somebody and they'll help you fill it out on the phone. Well, you used to be able to. I don't know if you still can, but it is that simple if this even worked. It does not work.
It's a little bit more complicated than that. So there's a way, and it's not free either.
Where are you going to have your paycheck made out? You say you still work a job. You're going to have your Social Security disability sent to your unincorporated association?
But it can be done. And I'm giving you guys this option in case you want to do it. And now I have an Intel drop, and it's a good one.
How the fuck are you going to stop paying payroll taxes, you fucking retards? Like, your company automatically takes it out.
It's probably my favorite Intel drop of all time. Well, maybe.
Phil pays his taxes. In fact, we were tracing it. We were tracking it so much he got like 2 years behind and got taken to court and had to fucking send a check in and shit. He does seem like he pays his taxes.
Maybe not, because Maduro Maduro was a good one because Maduro led to election.
And he did not do a very good job of filing his taxes. One of the first things, so like Phil's never been wealthy. He was like a part-time Subway sandwich artist, part-time realtor, blah, blah, blah. But he likes to say, I was the biggest realtor in this area. You know, he just lies about it. But then he got money really quick. When you get a large lump sum of money, even if you know it's not going to last forever, even if it's social media money, when you start making like way more money you've ever made, the first person you should go talk to is a financial advisor, an accountant, a CPA, somebody. Phil didn't.
Fraud. And I knew that because we talked about that. If you haven't watched my Maduro live, which was sometime in December, I believe, watch that. Because the Maduro live was a catapult to where we are today. And the things that have happened since the Maduro arrest are predicating exactly what's happening right now.
I'm not asking how do you start sending $0 from your paycheck in. I'm asking if that paycheck is coming in your personal name. No company is going to send it to the fucking unincorporated association of Jill Stein, right? Like, it's in your fucking name, so you still show income. You're still going to get a W-2 at the end, and that shit is still going to be sent to fucking the IRS, and they know you owe that money. You can go on your, like, you filed taxes this year. You can go on your tax records. You have to sign in and make a fucking account and a password or whatever. It's tax records, and then go on your income side of your tax records. They already have all of your fucking W-2s just stacked there.
Was a milestone that I've been waiting for since 2020. I thought it should have happened a long, long, long time ago. And for whatever reason, it didn't. But regardless, we're here now. And what's about to happen is most likely the most important part of Trump's second term, which will lead to the fourth term. For this, I put a little presentation together. It's not a long one. It's just a PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to put on the screen, just because I want you guys to follow along closely. Not because it's difficult to understand, because it's really not. But there is something going on within the Trump administration right now, and it's ready. It's ready to go, and it will be coming soon. Now, Iran was kind of the priority. Why? Because Iran was not only approaching a nuclear weapon, but they were also heavily engaged on assassinating Trump. So Iran absolutely needed to be dealt with, and they were dealt with. They were dealt with, and they will continue to be dealt with, and it's not going to be very long either. This isn't a George Bush Iraq war or anything like that. They are smokingly dead already. I mean, they have been absolutely hammered, and we haven't even really begun to flex our military strength. Another thing too, I want to say at this particular point, and I've said this before. In fact, I've done a live on him specifically dedicated to him. Pete Hegseth. I think that's a name you're going to see in government for a very long time at different levels. Right now, he's Secretary of War, but he could very, very easily climb to the presidency. He's young, smart, and he is showcasing his ability right now more than I ever thought he would, to be honest with you. I mean, he's great. So I'm excited to see the future with Hegseth. I'm excited to see the future with Josh Hawley. I'm still not a very big Rubio fan, but he appears to be handling things well. But I think he suffers from depression. I don't know. Like every time I see him, I feel like he's sad. So, I mean, I know he's doing a good job, and I know Trump likes him, and I get that, but he just seems like I don't know if he can handle everything. Like I feel like he needs like a nap a lot of times in the day, and he doesn't have time for a nap. I nap. I love napping. I nap sometimes, all the times. So, but Marco doesn't nap. He needs to nap. He should nap more, actually. Maybe if we get him a better mattress, I don't know. Maybe he has a soft one and he needs a firm one, but you can adjust those now, and they go up and down.
People always say there's no U.S. law that says that they can tax people. There clearly are. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 1 of the U.S. Constitution gives Congress the power to lay and collect taxes to provide for the defense and welfare of the U.S. The Constitution's 16th Amendment gave Congress the power to lay and collect tax on income. Congress used the power granted by the Constitution and 16th Amendment and made laws requiring all individuals to pay taxes. Congress authorized the IRS to administer tax laws, which are known as the Internal Revenue Code, and that is in Title 26 of the United States Code. Like, it's pretty fucking spelled out from start to finish.
Everything's amazing. So, Rubio is serious, not sad. No, he's sad. Yeah, he's a little sad because he's not sleeping well. I don't know if any of that's true. But regardless, here's what's going on. Let's share the screen during this presentation.
500 soldiers dead. I would say almost immediately, no, that's not true.
No. Oh, wait, hold on. Crap, hold on. So. I messed that one up a little bit. You're a hacker, super hacker. Shut up.
I couldn't imagine something they would do that would hit 500 soldiers, especially on the measures they're probably at right now in Qatar.
Idiot. There we go. Try that one more time. Will you just do what I want you to do? Stupid thing. Do it. Do the thing. Do what you're supposed to do. I do not know why that's not working. It was working, and then I messed it up, and then... Here's what I'm going to do. If I disappear, I'll be right back.
Uh-oh. He disappeared.
I think I did disappear, but everybody's still here. Good.
I think there's been 6 soldiers killed so far. 6 U.S. soldiers.
There we go. Gotcha. Okay. We're going to share this one. Now we're just going to make sure it is on the screen, and it is.
All right, so this is the intel part of his show where he's going to tell you what's going to be happening and why.
All right, real.
I don't really care for this part. I was more about I can't believe. So not only is he going to take all these old people's money through crypto while convincing them they're extremely wealthy, they just can't get to it yet, which is basically the same thing he did with all of his gold and silver scams. But once he gets all your money and you think in your head, I have all this money waiting for me, even though it's going to be dumped way before you get to it. You're also going to be trying to fight the fucking IRS because you followed his advice and started an unincorporated association and haven't been paying taxes for the last 2 years. Fucking insane, dude.
Trump
Guy's crazy.
And this has been in the works now for several.
Him and Brad have been working on a lot of things together. Well, a lot of things that make money, basically.
Months, probably since the middle of last year. I got news for you guys. The Save America Act.
Brad was the first person Phil called after Biden was actually inaugurated. And Phil said, I don't know what to do. I didn't think there was going to be an inauguration. I thought Trump was going to come back suddenly and it was going to be announced that he really won, blah, blah, blah. And then we're going to halt the inauguration. And then Brad said, yeah, we're all kind of thought that. And there was a third person on the call is the reason I know this. And it was Brad's old co-host. And Phil said, well, have you guys ever heard about this Q or QAnon thing? I've never heard anything about it, but I think I'm going to start covering that. And then 6 months later, he was Q. He claimed that he was Q and fucking, he was a spy and it was fucking, it's just crazy shit, dude.
That's not going to pass.
He knows how to spin a story to where his grandmas will fucking love it and send more money.
It's not going to get through. It's already been stalled in the Senate, which we know. And without the Save America Act, we do not have voter ID. And without voter ID, we do not have a fair, free election. So Trump knows this. That's why Trump has been so actively campaigning for the Save America Act and saying things about, the various different rhinos that are in the Senate that are holding this up. And he knows that it's not going to pass. And there's nothing that he could do to get it through the Senate to get it to pass. That is very, very bad if it does not pass, because there is way too close. Let me get this off the screen for now. There is way too close of a majority versus minority in the House. And if they grab the House, especially if it's through fraud, here come impeachments.
Fraud. Got it.
Stalling of Trump's agenda. And we are back to term 1. So looking at this from a 10,000-foot view, it's like, well, who cares about that because Trump is in control of everything anyway, right? Yes, true. But does he want to become a quote-unquote dictator and enforce these things that he needs to need to be enforced? No, he doesn't. He wants to do things the right way. He always has done that. Donald Trump has always done that his entire career with everything. So there's the plan, and then there's the optics that Trump and the White Hats have to consider at all times. So just...
By the way, there's a $5,000 fine per false statements that if you file your taxes wrong or some shit that they can impose. They typically don't. They just come for the back taxes. But they could.
Doing it just to do it and get it done is not always the most reliable and sensible solution. He wants to keep things... I mean, look, guys, look at the last 8 years. He wants to keep things smooth. Could he at any time come in and be like, EBS, executive order, suspend habeas corpus, Insurrection Act, Stafford Act? Could he keep doing all these things? Sure he could. He could do all of them right now. He can do them tonight. But what that does is it creates a faction of deep-rooted haters who think they were disenfranchised. Now, I know the other side disenfranchised voter. I get that. There's a whole argument. But it creates a public persona that Trump is forcing these things. And he doesn't want it to be that way. He wants it to be legal. And he wants it to be fair. Why? Because that's what we are. We are legal. We are the party. Our MAGA party is the party of legal and fair and honest. The Democrats are the exact opposite of all of those things. So you can't compare what they do to what we do and say, well, they're doing it, so we might as well do it. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. And he's not going to be that way because he's not that type of guy. So what he is doing is he stays at all times 10 steps ahead of anything they're thinking or doing. So right now he has all these Congress people and senators focused on the SAVE Act, and he puts out truths about the SAVE Act all the time and whatever. He's completely distracting them away from what he's actually going to do and what the actual agenda is. Now that you have that background, let me explain the agenda. Trump is drawing up, well, not Trump, but the attorneys for Donald Trump are drawing up what is called a national emergency order. This emergency order is going to be enacted prior to the 2026 midterms. Why does it have to be enacted before then? Because if they control the House and or the Senate or both, there's going to be serious problems in this country, and we want to avoid that. The reason why this national emergency order is going to be enacted is due to a, quote, unusual and extraordinary threat to the national security and foreign policy of the United States. Now, anytime the president of the country deems that there is a serious, extraordinary...
He has been spitballing this idea, Trump has, to do a national emergency around voting.
...threat to the country, whether it's due to, whatever it's due to, foreign policy or national security or whatever, but especially national security, there is what we call precedence for declaring such an act. Anyone remember the Patriot Act? Bush enacted the Patriot Act. Obama, spy on everybody, right? Trump, based on not just his own feelings or the feelings of advisors, is relying upon intel that suggests, and not only suggests, but proves that there is a threat to national security and foreign policy affairs. So
they're going to claim that China interfered in our life, or at least this is what's come out from the, leakers in the administration, that some of his constitutional lawyer friend people, Sidney Powell tops, have been coming to Trump saying that he can declare a national emergency, claiming that China interfered with our election in 2024, and that only through a national emergency measure where he has power can he make sure that the election is not interfered with and make sure it goes off without a hitch. He'll then use his wide sweeping powers to, they're talking about getting rid of any mail-in voting unless you're like out of town or sick or military. But like if you're one of the people that requests a ballot and gets it and just votes because that's how you like to vote, done. Implementing ID checks everywhere and name checks, and you better have your birth certificate and passport and just all kinds of crazy shit. The problem is the power to run the elections falls in the states, not the federal government. It falls to the states individually to run their own elections the way they want.
Oh, what is that threat? Data from the 2020 election fraud will be revealed. Now, when I did my live on Maduro, I was ecstatic. If you remember, if you go back and watch that live, I was excited because I wanted and needed that to happen in order to get to the point where we could start talking about fixing 2020 again. Okay? Without the Maduro arrest, it was very hard to try to introduce a way to the American people so that the American people could get it through their minds that election fraud did happen. And not only did it happen, but who perpetuated it? Who allowed it to happen or enabled it to happen or participated in it happening? Who was responsible for it? Was it just a bunch of voters who was like, we're going to fraudulently elect Biden? No, it was not. Foreign countries, plural, were involved. Former presidents were involved. Members of Congress were involved. And how do we know that? Because we have the data. We have the data not only from back in 2020, we have new data from Maduro. Was Maduro a plant? I don't know. Does it make sense that he would have been? Sure as hell does. So you can start seeing the steps now. This is the first time, honestly, that the steps are all in lockstep. To me, it's the first time I remember that these steps are in lockstep. Because what's happening is, one event happens, we see the event, I see the event happen, I do a live stream on the event, and I say, I think that's happened because of this. It's not just about Venezuela and the drug smuggling, the bombing of the boats and all that stuff. It's not just about that. That is kind of in relation to what they're not talking about, which I said on the Maduro live, if you remember, was election fraud. Remember? I'm starting to sound really smart, aren't I? I talk about tokens when they're $20 and they go up to 200. I sound like really smart, don't I?
Got it.
Maduro's arrest led to us being able to enact this national emergency. Without that, we wouldn't have been able to do it legally. Now, let's talk about legally. A lot of you may be thinking, yeah, he's going to do this. Trump's going to do this. And they're just going to sue. And then some federal idiot judge is going to overturn the decision and they're going to stop. Oh, no. Because remember back to last year, Trump got approval from the Supreme Court, the SCOTUS, from the Supreme Court of the United States, that if any of his actions, his presidential actions, were being challenged by lower courts other than the Supreme Court itself, the action stands unless and it doesn't matter what judge overturns it. If there's an ongoing appeal all the way up to the SCOTUS, that action stays in place. That was never the case.
No, these are individual actions. Sometimes they stay in place. Sometimes they don't.
If Trump tried to do something and they sued and it went in front of a lower court judge and the lower court judge says,
if I were to die tomorrow, I want every diabetic, including you, to know this. Type 2 is a completely reversible condition.
I hope you die tomorrow.
He was appointed by Obama or Clinton or somebody, right? So these are all enemies of the MAGA party, of Donald Trump. So of course they're going to rule against Trump. Look how corrupt the judge system, the judges are across the country. So now what has changed is Trump could do something in terms of an executive order. And even if they do sue, or even if a judge says, can't do that, the order stands as long as Trump is able to appeal it. While it's under appeal, Trump's action or his order continues on. So when Trump enacts this national emergency order, it will stay in effect until it gets to the SCOTUS. How upset were you when the SCOTUS turned on Trump with the tariff decision? Pretty upset, right? Remember I said, listen, the tariffs could have been enacted a dozen different ways. Trump chose the one way that it was more than likely to be overturned because of questions about the legality of the tariffs. Trump's the first 4 or 5 months of his term, all he talked about were tariffs and how much money was going to come back into the country and how great they were, right? So he could have enacted them a different way that they could have never been challenged. Never. But he chose the worst way. The worst way out of all of them on the list, he chose the worst way. Why? Why did he do that? Why
Secret genius.
You think he just get bad advice that day, or maybe he had one too many Diet Cokes? I don't know. No, he chose it because he wanted the Supreme Court to rule it down. Why? Because he wants the Supreme Court to appear unbiased, as they're supposed to be. So when this matter of the national emergency gets to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court sides with Trump, no one's going to be screaming, well, they're all appointed by Trump. Of course they're going to side with him. Okay, oh yeah, left? Well, why didn't they side with him on the tariff decision? And then the left's like, racist! Or something like that. It's
nailed it.
Planned. It's for a long time, I've been very upset with how this whole thing has gone down, and you guys know that. And it was hard to get to this point where you could actually say, wow, things are happening, and it's happening in a pretty cool order. It was hard to get to that point, mentally, financially, emotionally. But we are here now. So we can't really look back at the last 4 years and be like, damn, it was, it was exhausting. But here we are. And now it looks beautiful. He has, through the tariff decision with the Supreme Court, he has made it appear that the tariff decision was an unbiased decision, or at best, it was an unbiased decision. At worst, they sided against Trump. In any case, when this one gets before the Supreme, it may not even get before the Supreme Court by November. Depends on when he enacts this. Maybe he wants it to go to the Supreme Court. I don't know what the plan is there. Maybe he's going to enact it kind of soon to allow it to go through the court system over the next few months, and then allow it to get to the Supreme Court by November. And you know what the Supreme Court's going to do? They're going to side with Trump. They're going to say, yeah, he could enact the emergency order. Now, let me tell you what the emergency order is going to say. First of all, this is just one of those things that just makes me like melt inside a little bit. It's kind of like watching my firstborn son be born or something, right? It is literally a 17-page executive order. You can't make this stuff up. And it gives Donald Trump broad authority over the upcoming elections. It's literally 17 pages long. And it hasn't been released yet. It will be released. But they literally made the damn thing 17 pages. Just like a little tip your cap to the anon kind of community kind of thing. You know what I mean? I love it. I love when he does stuff like that. He does stuff like that a lot, actually. And I just think it's great. It's a great gesture to the people who really put Trump in the place that he's in right now. And I firmly
believe it is
exactly that. We were.
Why wouldn't it be?
My community and other truther communities have propped this administration.
Phil's communities propped up the Trump administration.
Donald Trump's reputation and his.
This was the guy that, like, you can see how many live viewers, when someone's live, you can see how many live viewers, and his numbers were really good. Sometimes they'd be like 20, 30,000 people. And he would come on and say, we got 1.6 million people right now watching live. You can't believe the number that you see on Rumble. That's only people that are signed into their accounts. It doesn't count everybody else.
Aura to what it is today. We are responsible for that. So when we get a little nod like this, the 17
the aura
and his have propped this administration and Donald Trump's reputation and his aura to what it is today. We are responsible for that. So when we get a little nod like this, the 17-page EO giving him authority over future elections, and by the way, the reveal of the 2020 fraud, finally the reveal. We still have not seen a reveal of the fraud for 2020. You guys realize that, right? Like, he talks about it all the time. And Fulton County was raided. That happened right after Maduro. And Maricopa County's in a lot of trouble, by the way. That's coming soon. That's another little tidbit. But regardless. So not only does it give Trump broad authority over the upcoming elections, specifically, it gives Donald Trump. Can you guys see that, or is it? Yeah, well, most of it. I know I'm hiding a little bit of it. But the executive order would empower Donald J. Trump to impose nationwide voter ID, prohibit in entirety mail-in ballots, not just a portion of them. It would give him the ability to prohibit all mail-in ballots and require all ballots to be hand-counted only. That is the...
You know how long it's going to be before we have results hand-counted?
Complete elimination of any machine when it comes to tabulating votes. Whether it's counting the votes, who won the number of votes for each candidate, or voting on a machine. Because that could also be, obviously, hacked into. Because how do we know? Because it's already happened. So this gives Trump... And let's talk about why Trump would be able to get this power. Why would he be able to get this power? Because our previous election was fraudulent. There's not a person in the world that could say that a president of the United States, through all of the power that he has, that's granted to him within the United States Constitution, there's nobody, there's not a court in the land that could say, you can't protect our elections. Look at all the evidence that there was that a United States presidential election was stolen. A fraudulent president reigned over our country for 4 years. And then I start thinking back like, well, we allowed it, right? Because we could have stopped this way back then. Yeah, we did. Why did we allow it? Because sometimes there are casualties of war. Sometimes you have to go through hell in order to make sense that the hell never happens again. If we had put a stop to this in 2020, now I was a big proponent of that. I wanted to put a stop to it. I was pissed off that they did it for a long time. You guys know that, especially if you were with me right after 2020. You know how pissed off I was. And I've been saying that for years. But thinking back on it now, if we had done it in 2020, what would have changed? If we conducted a coup and Trump went back into office in 2020, served the second term that was contested, the entire second term would have been contested in the court system, which, by the way, was still controlled by the Democratic Party. Right? Judges were still corrupt, and they're still corrupt now, but they were much more corrupt back then, right? This would have simply happened again. And honestly, it would have got to a point where if it wasn't corrected, we would have never won another election. It would have completely been gone forever. our ability to, we would end up losing our weapons. They would have ransacked the Second Amendment. And it would have been awful. Just like they did in Australia. The money would have kept flowing to the cabal instead of having cut off like Trump has done.
Just like Australia, guys.
2024. So much took place in those 4 years behind the scenes that led us to the point that Trump is now able to do everything that he's doing right now publicly without any sort of dictation. No one's going to say, oh, Trump's a dictator. They can't. He's doing everything by the book, right? And I know, you say, screw the book. Look where the book got us. Well, okay, I understand that point, and I agree with it to an extent. But you can't just think that Donald Trump is going to be president forever. You can't, right? He's not. There's going to be another president in your lifetime other than Trump. So, and if not your lifetime, then your kid's lifetime or your grandkid's lifetime or another generation. We need to protect all of that, not just the now. You can't be too short-sighted to think that, oh, well, if it's taken care of now, I'm fine. Give me Sarah, give me this, give me that. Listen, all that stuff will be reversed. If we let them back in the office, they are never, ever, ever going to, they're going to pack the court. They'll never lose another Supreme Court decision. Our elections will always be stolen, and not just for the presidency, but for Congress. Your states will go bankrupt, just like they were doing with Minnesota. And other states too, by the way. Minnesota's not the only one. Minnesota's the first one that we decided to reveal, but there's going to be more. Just like that. California's in a lot of trouble. Newsom's in a lot of trouble. But we'll get there. You can't just focus on the now.
They're all in a lot of trouble. Just wait.
Worse in the future than it ever was for us in the past 4 years, 8 years, whatever you want to call it. This had to be done exactly this way. It doesn't matter if you think it's exhausting or you're tired and you want the movie to end. It makes no difference if you feel that way. I'm sorry, but your opinion on that is not as important as the ones that are highest in this country, meaning the Trump administration, the military, and so forth. Doesn't matter. They're not asking for your opinion. They know what's best, not only in order to create a short-term solution, but also to create long-term, lasting effect. That is what's important, and that's what they're doing. So what you're going to see is, I'm still here, guys. My camera shut off. Hold on a second. I think I might have to change the battery. I'm still here, guys. Don't panic. I just got to change the battery real quick. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
I don't know. There you go. That's Phil, everybody. I'm about tired and wore out after debunking his fucking crypto scam and his tax scam, both coming to you live. Phil's got to earn some more money, boys. $7K no longer paying out. What do you think? Got to keep that money flowing. Either way, thank you guys for joining us. Consider supporting the show. If you like what we do, if you want to keep it going, there's the links to support the show. You can use the built-in thing. This has Buy Me a Coffee, PayPal, and Dono Clip if you want to record a message. Support the show. That's how I pay the bills around here and keep doing the show. It has to support itself. So thank you guys for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Listen to me bitch a little bit. Hope you enjoyed this walk down Phil's memory lane. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you about the next one. I'm going to go get some sleep. Talk to you later. Love you. See you. Bye. Ramsacked. That's right. Phil's the big proponent of Ram Ranch.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the fork and balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the
Good to see you, Betsmo.
You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit.
Where my true believer?
Y'all need Jesus.
Praise the Lord, head to the extreme.
All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like four in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped them to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby jovial and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Whoa, wait. Stop. What? What? I'll get my files. Wait, what are you doing? Stop. Fucking stop. Dude, come on. Seriously. My mom's an alcoholic. Oh, give me a... Oh, my God. Damn it. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Round 3. Down goes Nino. Please say it isn't so. Got him backed up on the ropes, trying to ram it down his throat. Now things are getting rocking, he was doing so well. It's all over, hands on his shoulders, they ringing his bell. You got Frog News Network doing no damn research. They be working copy on cocks that came first. 9th inning, second string, and they acting like they know hitters. Assholes throwing bullshit, sending runs to the shitter. All this nonsense on my conscience, it's hard to sleep at night. Who the fuck is in my window with this time of the night? These parasites, these leeches, with all their secret meetings, teaching all you fucking cretins about baby-eating heathens. Believing in reason with no meaning is bullshit. Will Bird motherfuckers out here busting the grifts. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
Good night, guys.
I think I started some shit.